Chapter 1402. Luckily, Huamin reacted quickly and grabbed onto the metal railing of the rooftop with his other hand. What are you guys waiting for? Hurry up and save her. Chenjia was almost in tears as she yelled at the stunned police officers. Only then did the police officers and firefighters react. They immediately ran over and pulled them up. Once they were on the rooftop, Huamin finally let out a sigh of relief. You were too impulsive. Who told you to approach the little girl so recklessly? Do you know how dangerous it was? The police officer's leader yelled at Huamin. You don't know her. She has mania and can't be delayed any longer. If we delay, she'll become irritable and become even more dangerous. After Huamin spoke calmly, he stood up with Chenjia's help. Give her a sedative and let her rest. I'll check on her later. Okay, Chief. Huamin looked at the frightened parents of the little girl. If you don't want her to die, don't force her. Why should we send her to the UK or the US? It's up to her where she wants to go, right? Let me give you a piece of advice. A parent's biggest wish is for their child to grow up safely and happily, not bring them glory. Then Huamin dragged his tired body downstairs. Chief, it's time for lunch. I'll get you some. Eat before you leave. Chenjia's heart ached for Huamin, so she carefully supported him the whole way. Ahem. It's okay, I have something to do. I'll go to the company first. Keep an eye on the kid and report back to me. Okay, Chief. Huamin forced himself to stay alert. He got into the Audi and drove to GK. On the way, Chinchu picked up his phone. She hung up the video call and called back. Why did you hang up? I'm driving. Huamin tried to make his voice sound more lively. If Mr. Qin knew that she had just experienced a terrifying experience where she almost fell off a building, he would definitely be shocked. He probably had to do it with a belt again. Have you eaten? Not yet. I'm driving to the company. I'll eat when I get there. I saw the live broadcast of the press conference. How is it? What do you think? I didn't embarrass you, did I? Huamin chuckled. Wifey, I'm sorry, why are you apologizing? Huamin was puzzled. There have been a lot of unexpected things recently, and I feel bad that you've been working with me. You shouldn't be doing things like the press conference. What nonsense are you talking about? Aren't we husband and wife? We've gone through thick and thin together. From the moment we registered our marriage, we've been bound together for better or worse. Your glory is my glory, and your predicament is my predicament. Huamian, you're so good to me, how could I let you go? Little Chu, are you saying that you're giving up on me? Huamin chuckled. No, I won't give up on you even if I die. That's more like it. Don't even think about dumping me. I've decided to be your dog skin plaster for the rest of my life. I'll be your dog skin plaster in our next life and the one after that too. Even Granny Meng can't do anything to me. After speaking, Huamin whistled. On the other end of the phone, Chinchu chuckled quietly. Chinchu had to deal with all kinds of complicated things every day, and only when he spoke with Huamin did he feel a moment of peace. Honey, I'm going to the company for a meeting in a bit. I need to finalize the new spring jewelry line. Okay. Do you have any ideas? Huamin asked for Chinchu's opinion. Chapter 1403. It's up to you. Honey, does this count as a harem interfering in politics? Huamin laughed and asked. Wouldn't it be a waste if you don't interfere in politics when you have such a powerful harem? Chinchu asked back. Huamin couldn't stop laughing. Honey, I'm almost there. I'll talk to you later when we get home. Okay, be careful. After hanging up, Huamin parked the car and went upstairs. Bella, do you still have food? I'm starving. Huamin said as he walked in front of the president's office. Bella looked surprised. It's already 2:00, you haven't had lunch yet? Do you have any fast food? I'll just have a bite of bread. I have a meeting in a bit. Before Bella could say anything, she saw Ni Yang walk over with a brocade box. Sis, I'm here to bring you food. Why are you here? Huamin was surprised to see Ni Yang. Jia just called me and said that you just finished work at Southside and haven't had lunch yet. I was rehearsing at the company today, so I drove out to buy some food. Good boy, I didn't dote on you for nothing. Huamin patted Ni Yang's head lovingly. She never thought that this child, who used to suffer from depression, would become a warm and caring boy. Ni Yang put down the box and poured Huamin a glass of warm water. Sis, you eat first. I'll continue rehearsing. I'll be at the company today, just call me if you need anything. Go ahead. After Ni Yang left, Bella looked at Huamin with envy. A young lady, you're so popular. Ni Yang is very cold and doesn't get close to most people. Cold? That's not it. That's because you don't know him. Huamin smiled as he opened the food box. and Ayang was really generous. She bought some dishes from a famous private restaurant in the city. There were a total of 4 dishes, 2 meat and 2 vegetables. There was also a bowl of red bean soup which was especially delicious. Huamin was probably really hungry and ate a lot. After finishing the battle quickly, she took the blueprint that she had prepared for the meeting in the morning and studied it carefully. In the afternoon, they discussed with the jewelry design department for 3 whole hours before finalizing the new product. The press conference was set to start at 8 p.m. at one of GK's hotels. Due to the lack of time, Huamian didn't invite too many people. She was very touched that Jiang Xiaowei had taken the initiative to agree to come on stage. One had to know that Xiaowei was pregnant, a national treasure. If Xiaowei came, then Wei Liao would naturally come. If Wei Liao came, then Tang Chuan would definitely come. Then Suyu, Huamin did not invite him. After all, this was just a press conference and she didn't want to use this opportunity to hype herself up. When she walked out of the company in the afternoon, it was barely 5 p.m. Huamin saw that there was still some time, so she drove to the supermarket to buy some supplements. Then she went to President Wu's house. President Wu lived in a high-end residential area in the city. It was a multi-story house not far from where Wu Xiaoxue used to live, so it wasn't hard to find. President Wu should have gotten off work by now. Huamin nervously pressed the doorbell. Huamin? President Wu was slightly surprised when he opened the door. President Wu. Why are you here? I'm here to give you a gift. Recently, I've been delaying my work, so I was afraid that you would fire me. Huamin smiled. You. President Wu, who had a serious expression on his face, was amused by her words. After she went in, President Wu's wife came out as well. She was a very enthusiastic old lady. They made dumplings and invited Huamin over for dinner. Huamin didn't refuse. She sat in President Wu's dining room and slowly ate the dumplings. Huamin, you came to see me for something, right? President Wu could tell that this girl came with a lot on her mind. He didn't want to beat around the bush, so he took the initiative to ask. After Huamin heard this, she slowly put down her chopsticks. You can tell? She smiled apologetically. Tell me, what is it? I'll see if it's something I can help with. President Wu had a kind face. He cherished talents, so he treated Huamin exceptionally well. It could also be said that Huamin's achievements today were all thanks to President Wu's promotion. He was willing to give her a chance, so she had her current glory. President Wu. Huamin stuttered as if she didn't dare to say it out loud. Chapter 1404. President Wu looked at Huamin's hesitant expression and became anxious. Director, I want to resign. In the end, Huamin made up her mind and blurted out the words on the tip of her tongue. She felt a lot more relaxed after she said it. President Wu wasn't surprised. It seemed like he expected Huamin to make this choice. Have you made up your mind? President Wu poured himself a glass of wine and asked slowly. Huamin nodded with determination. Chin-Chu is too busy right now. There are too many things going on at the company and my father-in-law isn't in good health. I want to go back and help him. But, isn't being a doctor your biggest dream? Yes, but compared to my husband's business, I want to prioritize his business. I'm not a successful person and I don't have much ambition. I'm not a strong woman, but in my eyes, my husband's business is the most important thing. I can't bear to see him work so hard, so. Huamin didn't finish her sentence. However, it was obvious that he understood what she wanted to say. After a long moment of silence, President Wu looked up at her. Huamin, you know I've always admired your talent. Mitchum, I know. There are many doctors, but not many are as dedicated as you. You've worked at Southside for so long, and although I haven't praised you verbally, I can't deny your contributions to the hospital. Director, I'm not that good, you're flattering me. Huamin was a little embarrassed. Let me finish. I understand where you're coming from and it's normal for you to resign. GK is such a big corporation, and Chin-Chu doesn't have many helpers by his side. It's inevitable that he'll be tired. If you go, he'll be able to relax a lot. You and your wife have always been close, so it's natural for you to do this, but I won't approve of your resignation. I can't approve of it. Huamin was slightly stunned upon hearing this. Director, I'm also selfish. I don't want our hospital to lose such an excellent doctor. So, I've decided to give you leave without pay. Leave without pay? Huamin's mouth was slightly agape. He was at a loss for words. What a great honor it was to stay on without pay. It meant that they would not be paid, but their position would always be retained. He could go back at any time and be reinstated at any time. Most employers wouldn't make such a request unless the employee was exceptionally outstanding. Huamin was flattered. I'll always reserve the position of chief physician in the neurology department for you. Once you're done with your work over there, if you want to come back to work, Southside will always welcome you. Director, how could I? Huamin's voice was choked with sobs. But, there will be no bonus or salary, President Wu emphasized with a smile. I don't want any bonus or salary. Director, you're treating me like this, I'm really… Huamin was a little emotional. You deserve all of this. You're so excellent that you shouldn't be buried. If you didn't get married so early, I would have continued to persuade you to study abroad and contribute more to the medical field. I'm old and my thinking is different from you young people. You might think that we're old-fashioned and traditional. But Huamin, remember, a person's success isn't measured by money, status, or power, nor is it measured by their achievements. It's measured by how much they contribute to society and how much they are worth. Do you understand? Chapter 1405. I understand. This was also my initial thought when I was young. I've always felt that using everything I've learned to save one life after another is the most meaningful thing in the world. Very good. So, not only do I admire your talent, but I also respect your character. You will always be the best Dr. Hua at Southside. Upon hearing this, Huamin felt a deep sense of respect for President Wu. She slowly stood up and bowed deeply to President Wu. Thank you as my elder, my leader, and my boss. You've always given me positive energy, encouraged me, and guided me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to achieve the glory I have today, and thank you for giving me a way out. You've allowed me to keep hope in my heart. That's enough, stop being so sentimental. I'm not used to this. Hurry up and eat, the dumplings are going to get cold. President Wu smiled kindly. Then he changed the topic and continued to eat dumplings with Huamin while discussing some academic issues related to neurology. Time flew by. Huamin looked at the time and saw that there was less than an hour left until the press conference. Director, I'll be leaving now. Okay. Starting tomorrow? Starting tomorrow, you don't have to come. You can pick up your personal belongings when you have time. The office will still be reserved for you. Director, my assistant, Qinjie, is an excellent nurse. Huamin continued to nag. I know, as long as she's willing to work hard, I'll give her a chance. Thank you. Huamin was ecstatic from the bottom of her heart. She didn't know how many times she had thanked President Wu that night. Before they left, President Wu suddenly lowered his voice and said, Ning Ziyuan is going to Chicago. Has he made up his mind? Huamin tilted her head and looked at President Wu. I think so. Actually, I don't think highly of him, but since Xiao Xue is willing to give him a chance for the sake of the child, we can only give him our blessings. I hope that he can really turn over a new leaf this time. Okay. Huamin nodded. After bidding farewell to President Wu, he drove straight to the hotel where the press conference would be held. Oh my God, a young lady. What took you so long? You didn't put on any makeup, did you? Quick, quick, quick. There was less than half an hour left until the press conference, and Bella was extremely anxious. A young lady, as the main character of this new product launch, didn't change her clothes or put on makeup. It's okay. I'll just be myself. Tonight's event at 2 p.m. is a new product, not me. Huamin smiled. A young lady, but… Bella seemed to want to say something. It's okay. Trust me, I won't embarrass our company. Huamin smiled mischievously and turned to enter the lounge. She simply put on a very light makeup for herself and surprisingly she put on a black eyeliner that was slightly upturned. It was actually a little sexy. This was a style that she had never tried before. She also didn't wear the luxurious evening gown that the company prepared. Instead, she wore the black casual, tight-fitting suit that she was wearing, looking very professional and exquisite. This style was very much like Qin Chu's. 10 minutes before the press conference, the guests began to enter the venue one after another. Jiang Xiaowei, Wei Liao, and Tang Chuan sat in the first row to watch the show. Jiang Xiaowei sat next to Huamin, and the two of them chatted happily. It's so boring without Lord Su around. He'll be sad if he knows that he wasn't invited, Tang Chuan said on purpose for Huamin to hear. Huamin smiled awkwardly. Just then Bella walked over and whispered into Huamin's ear, "A young lady, President Hua of the Hua Corporation is here." Huamin's expression changed slightly. Chapter 1406. Jiang Xiaowei also saw Hua Xiqin from the corner of her eye, and her face immediately darkened. What's he doing here? Isn't he proud enough? Recently Hua Xiqin had been going against GK more and more. While Qin Chu wasn't around, he tried his best to steal GK's talent. Whether it was real estate or entertainment, they were all at loggerheads. Huamin didn't know what was wrong with Hua Xiqin. Why was he acting like this all of a sudden? Mian, why didn't you tell me about the launch of your new product? Chin walked in. He was wearing an orange suit and was as high profile as ever. President Hua is so busy every day, how could I disturb you? Don't be so formal, we're family. Chin looked at Huamin's face and was in a good mood. President Hua, you must be joking, we're not family. I don't have a relative as noble as President Hua. You're throwing a tantrum again? Are you still mad at me for starting an entertainment company? If that's the case, then I can just ask those artists to go back. Is that worth it? Chin smiled playfully. Huamin also maintained his elegance. I'm sorry, I don't like to let others give in to me, and neither does my husband. So, President Hua, please keep them for yourself. Also, since some people have left, even if they come back, we won't take them back. After he spoke, Huamin looked meaningfully at Mo Schwenger, who was wearing a black evening gown, standing beside Chin. Mo Schwenger on the other hand looked calm. Mrs. Qin, you must be joking. I've never turned back. Since I've already left, why would I go back? Before Huamin could speak, Mo Schwenger continued, I wasn't very close to your company back then. If it weren't for President Hua's recommendation, I wouldn't have signed with GK. Isn't it normal for me to leave now? We weren't friends to begin with. Upon hearing Mo Schwenger's mocking words, Huamin was extremely angry. For a while, Mo Schwenger complained to Huamin about her child. Huamin's even questioned Chin about it. But now, this woman's eyes. Of's family's way. Otherwise, how's of her of I that's of S, S's of say S, S of's two. SSS? S? S's S, SS. Did she want to compete with Huamian? She was still too inexperienced. Huamin could go on for an hour and make hers heart hurt. It would hurt her badly, but Huamian didn't think it was necessary. After a few words, Chin and Mo Schwenger sat in the first row. They came uninvited. Huamin wasn't happy, but he didn't chase them away. After all, there were still reporters outside. It wouldn't be good if there were any negative news on the show. 5 minutes before the show started, Huamin sat in the first row and secretly sent Qinchu a WeChat message. Honey, I'm so nervous. It was her first time launching a new product, so she was really nervous. Huamin was afraid that he wouldn't do a good job. If he couldn't increase sales, he would feel guilty. It's okay, honey. Just say it 3 times in your heart. I'm not nervous. Honey, you're still in the mood to tease me at a time like this? It's okay, honey. Let's just treat it as a game. Don't feel pressured, I'll watch your live stream. She became even more nervous when Qinchu said he wanted to watch her live stream. A young lady, are you ready? Can we start? Bella asked from the side. Huamin held her breath and nodded. Then the lights dimmed and loud music started. While everyone's attention was drawn to the music, a man wearing a white Versace jacket sat down in the corner of the last row. He quietly looked at Huamian sitting in the front row, his gaze gentle. Chapter 1407. Huamian had spent a lot of money to hire the models for the show, and all of them were famous domestic and international models. They were here to showcase GK's new spring collection. Therefore, when the models walked onto the stage with jewelry, the crowd gasped in awe. GK's new collection this time is very unique. It's completely different from the traditional ones. Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Did they change the designers? I heard that Lady Qin is hosting the show herself. The style has changed drastically. But I think it's pretty good. Only by keeping up with the trends can they not be eliminated. Even my mom thought the old and conservative styles were outdated. Who would want to buy them? The guests who had come to watch the show were all talking about it. When the first few of them appeared, they had already shocked everyone. Their reputation was very good. Mian, the star-shaped necklace on the model looks pretty good. I'll buy one for my baby. What are you buying? I'll give it to you. Huamin was extremely generous. You're so generous? Jiang Xiaowei chuckled. Of course, what if we become in-laws in the future? Ha! Didn't you already order Zhu Lingling's babies? My family will get a share as well. Jiang Xiaowei laughed. The fortune teller said that I might have more than one child. If I have 2, 3, or 4, it'll be a piece of cake for the Qin family. You're so greedy. Jiang Xiaowei intimately held onto Huamin's hand. She seemed to be enjoying the show. Huamin and GK's top 10 designers spent the night picking out the designs from tens of thousands of designs. Compared to the past, they did make a lot of changes. Huamin was a bit nervous, not sure if the public would buy it. After all, the changes might not be suitable for all industries and projects. Luckily, Mr. Chin was very easy to talk to and let her make all the decisions. From Mr. Chin's words, it didn't matter if she ruined GK as long as his wife was happy. Tang Chuan was not interested in these things. If it were not for the fact that he had to support Huamin, he would not have bothered to come. He lowered his head, took out his phone, and sent a WeChat message to Suyu. Lord Su, I'm watching GK Jewelry's spring release. I know, Suyu replied instantly. How did you know? Because I'm here too. Tang Chuan almost spat out a mouthful of mineral water onto Wei Liao's face. Fuck, you spilled the beans? Wei Liao was speechless. He carefully wiped his suit with a tissue. Tang Chuan quickly turned around to look for her. Finally, she saw Suyu in the corner, dressed in white. He quickly turned around and continued to send messages on WeChat. Fuck, you really came, yes. Then why are you at the back? Come to the front? It's a good view here. No, I want to keep a low profile. Fuck off, you still want to keep a low profile? I just want the whole world to know that I keep a low profile, Suyu replied jokingly. Tang Chuan was speechless. Then are you fucking keeping a low profile? Aren't you being too high profile? Tang Chuan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Just tell Huamin that I'm here. I'll be leaving in a bit. Fuck, then why are you here? Are you trying to burn your ass? I'm just passing by. Who would believe you? Tang Chuan knew that Suyu was definitely not just passing by. He just wanted to see Huamin, but he didn't want her to know that Lord Su's love was getting greater and greater. Even Tang Chuan felt that if he were a woman he would be touched by Suyu's love. In the end, Tang Chuan didn't tell anyone that Suyu was here, including Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei. More than 2 hours passed. When it was about to end, Bella walked up to Huamin. A young lady, it's about time. You can release the last design. Huamin nodded, took off his black suit jacket and slowly walked onto the stage. Chapter 1408. Inside was a white chiffon shirt with half sleeves. The cuffs were inlaid with GK diamonds. It was extremely luxurious. White shirt and black pants. It was a simple combination that was identical to Qin Chu's style. Huamin's hair was slightly curly, and she wore GK's new pearl earrings. They were exquisite and extremely cute. She elegantly walked onto the stage in her 5-inch black heels. Then she took the microphone from the host. Just then, not far behind her, a 7 or 8-year-old girl wearing a white gown began to play City in the Sky. After the music started, Huamin looked around the room and smiled. Suyu looked at her from afar and felt as if something had touched his heart. Huamin isn't a gorgeous woman, but her aura is truly invincible. I've seen countless women, but I've never seen one as stunning as her, Tang Chuan sincerely praised. Then he took out his phone and recorded a short video for Huamin. My Mian is one of a kind. If I were a man I'd like her too, Jiang Xiaowei said proudly. Wei Liao intimately put his arm around Jiang Xiaowei's shoulder. Slightly in our next life, if you're a man and I'm a woman, we'll still be together. Shameless, who wants to be with you? Although Jiang Xiaowei said this, she actually felt very sweet on the inside. Wei Liao was a man with a high IQ and a good temper. Most of the time he gave in to Jiang Xiaowei. He always compromised and doted on her. Jiang Xiaowei was very satisfied with her current life, even though she knew that she couldn't be like Huamin. She could have a man who loved her as much as his life, but after all, people couldn't compare. In this world there was only one Qin Chu and only one Huamin. Just then Huamin, who was in the middle of the stage, gently opened his mouth to the sound of the piano. Next, I'd like to introduce GK Jewelry's last new product of spring. It's also a piece of jewelry that I personally like very much. Then a hostess walked up to the stage and opened the box in her hand. Huamin took out a pair of bracelets. They were dark blue, the color of the sea. This is a pair of bracelets for couples. We named it Eternal Light. After speaking, Huamin put one bracelet down and put it on his wrist. Then he raised his wrist and continued, it's 12 to 23 centimeters long, 8 centimeters wide and weighs 45 grams. It's made of platinum and is embedded with 134 blue diamonds. It represents a lifetime. The most beautiful thing in the world is love. I think that when you're with someone, if they can give you the energy to wake up happy every day, sleep peacefully every night, and be filled with motivation for everything you do and hope for the future, then it proves that you didn't fall in love with the wrong person. The most suitable love is never to torture and eat each other in the name of love. Instead, it's to be with each other and be each other's eternal sunshine. That's why we named it Eternal Light. I hope you like it. After Huamin finished speaking, the audience applauded. and the reporters picked up their cameras and began to take pictures like crazy. Mrs. Chin, is this bracelet available now? When will it be available for sale? Eternal light is complicated to make and the materials are scarce, so we don't have it in stock. We're only accepting pre-orders. Mrs. Chin, how much is this jewelry set? Can you tell us? It's not for sale individually. It's designed for couples who love each other, so it's sold as a pair. The two bracelets together cost 680 million yuan. It's not expensive at all. It's much cheaper than some luxury bracelets. Those luxury bracelets cost hundreds of thousands. GK's prices are much more affordable. Upon hearing this, Huamin only smiled. Damn, it's so beautiful. Honey, I want this bracelet too. Jiang Xiaowei immediately fell in love with it at first sight. I'll buy it. Wei Liao was extremely generous. Even Tang Chuan was tempted. When I get married, I'll buy one for my wife too. It's not bad, it's so beautiful. 134 blue diamonds. How did he come up with that? Huamin is so talented. I have to give it to him. Inside the presidential suite at the Marriott Hotel in T-City, Sir, what do you think of a young lady's last treasure? Yang asked the boss excitedly. Chapter 1409. It's not bad. I think it's great too. A young lady is very bold. Although it's risky to change the design, I have a feeling that it'll sell like hotcakes. Assistant Yang was extremely excited. His days in T-City were very boring. Every day the president ran around and dealt with all kinds of difficult matters. Sometimes he was so bored that he almost fell asleep at the hotel. Just now he was watching the live broadcast on his laptop and his blood was boiling. I said my wife's clothes are very good. Assistant Yang, Sir, shouldn't the focus be on our new product? Assistant Yang was speechless. Qin Chu didn't say anything. He stared at Huamin on the stage as if he couldn't get enough of him. Sir, is there an internal purchase price for this pair of bracelets? Haha, 68,000 yuan is quite expensive. Assistant Yang seemed to be tempted as well. He immediately wanted to buy a pair of bracelets and wear them with his wife. Then he could show off to his friends on WeChat. Yes, if you buy it, I can sell it to you for 68,500 yuan. I'll give you a discount of 300 yuan, Qin Chu replied in all seriousness. Assistant Yang, Sir, you're so funny. Like Huamin, Qin Chu also paid attention to GK jewelry. However, after the new year, sales fell into a slump. It wasn't just their company, all jewelry companies were the same. During this period of weakness, releasing new products was actually a good thing. At least they could change it to something that didn't make people tired of looking at it. Other than the finale bracelet, there was also a series of jewelry such as pearl earrings, necklaces, bracelets, rings and so on. Huamian did this after considering all aspects. She had to satisfy different markets according to different demands. After the new product launch, Bella ran over excitedly. A young lady, we've already received orders worth more than 5 million yuan. That's crazy. Huamin was a bit flabbergasted. It hadn't even been 10 minutes since the new product launch. Were these people crazy? It's true, especially the Eternal Light bracelet. The orders on our website are still increasing. It's terrifying. Hee, not bad. I'm quite surprised. Huamin had taken a risk by choosing Eternal Light. This was because a few veteran designers felt that they should preserve their original style and not take risks. Just make a love bracelet that imitates a certain luxury brand. However, Huamin didn't like to plagiarize. He didn't like to walk the path of others. She felt that if a company did not innovate and only relied on its past achievements, adhering to the rules or following the trend of design, it would be useless. In the end, they would still be eliminated by the market. She remembered passing by a small hotel when she was very young. That hotel was very popular in the city at that time. Many people would choose to hold their weddings there. The sign outside their hotel was very eye-catching. I have what others don't have, I can change what others have, and I'm good at changing what others can. At that time, Huamin felt that this boss was smart and would definitely achieve great things. In the end, more than 10 years had passed, and that medium-sized hotel had now opened more than 30 chain stores in the province. That little boss also became a well-known entrepreneur. Therefore, this time they put a lot of effort into innovation. Finally, at the last moment, they jointly created Eternal Light. Also, Huamin had a little secret that she hadn't told him. Back then, when she took the final manuscript of Eternal Light to the production department, she said that she wanted to make a pair first and she wanted to wear it herself. There were 2 letters engraved on the inside of each bracelet, Siam. The homonyms of Chu and Mian. She wanted to give this mysterious gift to Qin Chu on their wedding anniversary. For so long, Qin Chu had always been the one to prepare surprises for her. She didn't seem to have prepared anything for him. Just thinking about it made her happy. The original plan was to have a wedding on the day of their marriage certificate. However, with so many things going on in the company, Huamin didn't mention it to Qin Chu. Huamin's in-laws urged her a few times, but Huamin ignored them. After all, she wanted to wait until everything was settled before having a romantic, unforgettable wedding with Qin Chu. After the launch of the new product, Huamin walked Jiang Shaowei and the others out. When she turned her head, she happened to walk across Hua Xiqian. Eternal light is amazing just like you. Hua Xiqian looked at Huamin with a dubious gaze. Chapter 14:10. President Hua, you're too kind. Huamin's tone was obviously distant. There was a period of time when her relationship with Hua Xiqian eased up a lot. At that time, Huamin thought that Hua Xiqian was actually a good person. But now she realized that he had too many thoughts and no one would ever know what he was thinking. He was the kind of person who could do anything. Especially when Huamin suspected that he had something to do with Jiang Linyue's murder, and when Song Yisher sent her a private message on Weibo. She was increasingly convinced that Hua Xiqian and she were destined to walk on two different paths and would never cross. They couldn't even be friends because they had different values. Although Suyu was arrogant and high profile, Suyu at least had a decent view of life and knew what to do and what not to do. But when it came to Hua Xiqian, there was no such thing as should or shouldn't. When Huamin chatted with Qin Chu later, they both suspected that Hua Xiqian had something to do with Hua Xinghai's death. Although there was no direct evidence, Huamin still felt that Hua Xinghai shouldn't have died so quickly. Hua Xiqian had him under house arrest for so long, and no one knew what he said or did in the end. Everyone in the Hua family was kicked out of the company, and even Hua Yinyan's biological daughter didn't get a single cent. Huamin thought that Hua Xiqian was sometimes too ruthless. He didn't leave any leeway for others. Although this kind of person could achieve great things, he basically didn't have many friends. Because he wasn't willing to open his heart to anyone. Mian, you seem to hate me a lot lately? Hua Xiqian took a step closer to Huamin. Huamin took 2 steps back. No, you're thinking too much. Really? Hua Xiqian smiled playfully. I've never liked you, so how can I hate you? Huamin sneered. You're still so sharp-tongued and unreasonable, but I still like you so much. What should I do? Hua Xiqian's lips curled up slightly with an evil smile. He couldn't wait any longer. He really wanted Qin Chu's news. A Huamin without Qin Chu might be the most complete Huamin. In his opinion. I can't afford President Hua's love. Huamin, you should go and like the people you get along with. We're destined to walk different paths. Thank you for coming to the product launch. If you place an order, I'll give you a 10% discount. Goodbye. After speaking, Huamin turned around and walked into the hotel. Hua Xiqian licked his lips, and then got into the car. In the passenger seat, Mo Schwenger had a look of disdain on her face. What's so great about it? She didn't design it, it was the designer who designed it. She's making it sound like it's all her work. Even an idiot would be able to design this product launch. All she did was show her face. Speaking in hindsight is really degrading, Hua Xiqian said coldly as he tilted his head and looked at Mo Schwenger. She knew that Hua Xiqian wasn't happy with her talking about Huamin. But she just wanted to say, did he have to act like Huamian was the most awesome person in the world? She was really pissed off. By the time Huamin returned to the hotel, most of the guests had already left. Bella walked up to Huamin, picked up a shawl and put it on him. Thank you. A young lady, I'll drive you home. It's okay, it's late. You should go home and get some rest. Thank you for your hard work, Bella. It's nothing, it's what I should do. Then go to bed early. See you tomorrow. A young lady, what's up? Huamin turned around. Actually, there's something I don't know if I should tell you. Bella was hesitant. Go ahead. Huamin looked at Bella's hesitation. Chapter 14:11. Actually, after the press conference started, someone else came. Although he sat in the back row, I still saw him. Who was it? Huamin was confused. It was the president of Imperial Star, Suyu. Huamin was slightly surprised. She had been busy all night and didn't see Suyu at all. He snuck in. Is he trying to steal our company's secrets? Is Imperial Star trying to enter the jewelry industry? Bella didn't know the true relationship between Huamin and Suyu, so she always thought of Imperial Star as her enemy. He won't, don't worry. Huamin smiled as he got into the car. As soon as she sat down, she received a WeChat message. Mian, if I can defeat Qin Chu, will you hate me? The winner takes all, why would I hate you? Huamin asked back. Hua Xiqin immediately replied in surprise, "You really think so?" "Yes, I won't hate you. I'll only fight you with my husband." Haha. Hua Xiqin only replied with one word. She was still as stubborn as ever. Just then Huamin sent her another WeChat message. "You stole GK's land midway, you're amazing. You poached all of GK's employees when the whole corporation opened an entertainment company, you're amazing. But, if you think that you're willing to sacrifice innocent lives just to defeat Qinchu Hua Xiqin, don't you feel guilty at all?" "Little sister Mian, what are you talking about? I don't understand." "No, you do. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm just reminding you, it's okay to make money, it's okay to fight for fame and fortune, but remember your bottom line." After speaking, Huamin directly blocked Hua Xiqin. He didn't even bother to delete them because if he did, they could still add you again and harass you. If he blacklisted her, the connection would be cut off permanently. Although Hua Xiqin did not directly declare war, he had been making frequent moves recently, targeting Qinchu. Huamin had already seen through his intentions. Therefore, it was impossible for him to pretend that they were still friends and keep his WeChat. When Hua Xiqin sent another reply to Huamin, he realized that his message had been rejected. "TSK, blacklisting me? I like that." Hua Xiqin smiled and his smile became even brighter. Before he started the car, he turned to look at Mo Schwenger. "Hey, tell me, what is the bottom line of a person?" Mo Schwenger was slightly surprised. She didn't know why Hua Xiqin would ask such a strange question. She wasn't prepared for it at all. "Bottom line. How much is it worth?" Hua Xiqin sighed and continued driving. Huamin dragged her exhausted body to the first hospital. After visiting Qinchu's father, she drove back to South Hill Manor. She took a hot shower, changed her clothes and walked out. Just then her phone rang. It was a video call from Qinchu. "Hello, Mr. Qin." In order not to make Qinchu worry, she was always full of energy in front of him. "You did a great job today. What reward do you want when we get back?" "Really? You'll give me anything I want?" Huamin smiled proudly. "Yes. As long as I have it, as long as you want it." Qinchu's gaze was gentle. "Actually, I really want you to come back. I feel so lonely when you're not home. Even the bed feels cold." "Yes, I'll be back soon. I'll warm the bed for you." "What are you talking about?" Huamin's face turned red. "I'm just warming the bed for you, honey. Are you thinking of something evil again?" Qinchu moved closer to Huamin and looked closely at her. Huamin looked up shyly and asked slowly, "Honey, do you like the eternal light at the press conference tonight?" She asked Qinchu tentatively. She wondered what kind of surprise Mr. Qin would receive on the anniversary of their marriage. Chapter 14:12. "Yeah. What does yeah mean? I'm asking you if you like it or not." Huamin was obviously not satisfied with Qinchu's answer. "I like it." Qinchu couldn't help but laugh. He knew that Huamian would be very impatient, like a child who got full marks on a test and was waiting for praise. Huamin's IQ was obvious, but in front of Qinchu she was like a fool. Because she relied on him and trusted him, she didn't have to do anything to him. Just like her mother and Jixin, they were all her closest family members in the world. Once, Xiaowei took Huamin to a psychology class. The famous psychology professor taught them a very special class. Why was it special? Because they were playing games the entire class, and they were doing subtraction problems. Huamin had a deep memory. It was the first time she walked on stage. The professor said, "Write the names of your loved ones, friends and lovers on the blackboard." Huamin picked up a piece of chalk and slowly wrote, "Qinchu Yang Mirong Jing Jixin, Zhu Lingling Jiang Xiaowei, Gao Ran, and her favorite assistant Chen Jie." The professor smiled and said, "From now on, the Grim Reaper wants to take someone away from you. Then you have the right to decide. Whoever you cross off will be taken away by the Grim Reaper and leave you forever." Huamin froze slightly. "Let's begin." Huamin was conflicted. He slowly raised his head and crossed off Chen Jie's name. The Grim Reaper doesn't think it's enough and wants to take 3 more. You decide. After the professor finished speaking, Huamin hesitated again and crossed off Gao Ran, Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling's names. At this moment, only Qinchu, Jixin and Yang Meirong were left. The professor looked at Huamin and continued in a serious tone, "The Grim Reaper is still greedy and wants to take 1 more." Huamin remained silent. With a heavy heart, he crossed out Yang Meirong. Although she loved her mother and Jixin the same way, her mother was old while Jixin was still young. If he really wanted to take her away, it was better to cross out his mother's name first. In the end, only Qinchu and Jixin were left. "Cross out another one," the professor ordered. "No, I can't." Huamin's heart was filled with sadness. Although it was just a game, she really didn't want to continue. Only Jixin and Qinchu were left. They were both her true love. There's only one left. Hurry up and continue, the professor snapped. Huamin trembled as he raised his head. Finally, Jixin's name was slowly crossed out beside Qinchu's name. Finally, there was only one left. In the end, the professor looked at her with a loving gaze. The one who is left behind is the person you cherish the most, the person you are even willing to exchange your life for. Cherish her well. Life is short and the time you can truly enjoy is not long. In the end, Huamin learned that the class was called Cherish. It was to force people to look at their own hearts and see the person most important to them clearly. Huamin already knew that in her heart, Qinchu had already surpassed everything. Honey, did you know? Eternal Light's orders are selling like crazy today. Huamin continued to claim credit. My wife is very good. When I go back in a few days, you should rest well and then go back to work at Southside. Don't delay your work. Qinchu always knew that Huamin loved being a doctor, so he was considerate of her. After a moment of silence, Huamin slowly said, Honey, I've already resigned from President Wu. What? Qinchu frowned slightly. Because I want to help you. Dummy, didn't I tell you that you're the most important thing? We don't have to transfer the money. We've already lived a comfortable life. If you're tired, I can sell GK and become a doctor with you. Do you need a brain surgeon at your place? I'm very good at medicine. Qinchu smiled warmly. Huamin wanted to cry. Didn't they say that in a man's eyes, business was always more important than beauty? Why would her Mr. Qin stupidly sell GK and become a doctor? Why would he have such a crazy idea? So what? GK is Dad's blood, sweat, and tears, Huamin corrected him. But the hospital is also your blood. Qinchu stared at Huamin's face and said seriously. Chapter 14-13. Let's not be so modest. Even though I really like being a doctor, compared to what you're doing, I'm more willing to help you. Helping my husband with his work gives me a sense of accomplishment. Even though it's hard work, it's also fulfilling. Besides, Director Wu said that he won't approve of my resignation. He's giving me leave without pay. After I'm done with my work, I can go back whenever I want, so don't worry about me. Okay, I can't out-talk you. Qinchu knew that Huamin had her own ideas. She wasn't someone that could be persuaded with just a few words. Has Jixin contacted you recently? Huamin asked. Lately, the kid seemed to be closer to his brother-in-law than to his sister. He went to Africa with his classmates. What? He went to Africa? Sure enough, Huamin's reaction was intense. He didn't want you to worry, that's why he didn't tell you. It won't be a problem. It's not a war-torn country, it's Tibet. There's a lot of wildlife conservation there and it's close to nature. That little brat. Earth can't hold him anymore, Huamin jokingly scolded. After I'm done here, we'll go to New Zealand to see him and then we'll go to the States. To California to see the sunset? Huamin rushed to answer. Yeah. Qinchu nodded. Deal. Don't break your promise. Otherwise, I'll remind you every day and torture you to death. I won't break my promise. After the couple flirted with each other for a while, Huamin felt extremely sleepy. After saying goodbye to Qinchu, she hung up the phone and fell asleep in less than 2 minutes. It seemed like she was really tired. Marriott Hotel in T-City, sir, when are we going back? Didn't the police eliminate us as suspects? I still have some things to take care of, Qinchu said. Then he walked to his computer and turned it on. 3 hours ago, Rick called and said that he found out that Jiang Linhua had deposited something in a bank in T-City. It was in a safe, but it couldn't be taken out unless the owner took it. Now that Jiang Linhua was dead, only her family could retrieve it. Her parents were both overseas and basically no one could contact them. Therefore, Qinchu had been thinking of ways to get this thing. He always felt that it seemed to be related to the case. Otherwise, Jiang Linhua wouldn't have been so careful. The next morning Huamin woke up early and drove to GK headquarters. A young lady, good morning. A young lady, good morning. All the employees seemed to have gotten used to Huamin being in the company and had already regarded her as the leader of the company. There was nothing wrong with replacing Qinchu. During the morning meeting, Huamin gave out a bonus to the design department. Then he made arrangements for the distribution of the jewelry. He had just returned to his office after the morning meeting. She saw Chen Jie standing in front of her office. Little Jie, why are you here? Director. Come in and talk. Seeing that Chen Jie was about to cry, Huamin pushed open the door and let her in. Director, I also want to resign. After you leave, I don't want to work at Southside anymore. Can you find me a job at GK? I want to continue being your assistant. After you leave, I don't want to work at Southside anymore. Chinjie loved Huamin very much. She originally thought that Huamin was only taking a temporary leave of absence. Then she heard from the hospital that Dr. Hua was on leave without pay and that he would never be able to return. Chinjie suddenly panicked. After struggling for an entire night, she made this bold decision. Chapter 14:14. Jia, you used to be a nurse, will you be able to get used to working at the company? I don't know how to do it, but I can learn. Anyways, I want to work for you. Chinjie looked like she was wronged. Boss had left, but he had actually left her in the hospital. Her heart was cold. Jia, I didn't resign. The director gave me a leave of absence so I might go back to work. But the hospital said you won't be going back and I don't think you'll be going back anytime soon, Chinjie said quietly. You want to come to GK because you want to see An Yang more, right? Huamin teased her. Chinjie's face immediately turned red. Chief, what are you talking about? Ha, okay, I'll stop teasing you. Jia, how about this, if you really want to come, you can be An Yang's assistant for now. Don't be my assistant, there are too many things to do at the company, and you won't be able to learn everything in a short period of time. You can go to GK Entertainment and stay with An Yang. Chinjie was pleasantly surprised. She didn't think that Huamin would agree so easily. Before Chinjie could speak, Huamin continued, you'll be paid the same as an assistant at GK Entertainment, and you'll get all the benefits. Although you're officially working at Southside, we still have insurance and housing, so the benefits are no less than what you get at the hospital. But, if President Wu finds out that not only did I leave but I also took you with me, will he kill me? No, President Wu loves you the most, Chief. Chinjie smiled brightly. Little girl, go, I'll call GK Entertainment right now. You go report to GK. Okay, thank you, Chief. Oh no, thank you, President Hua. Chinjie was overjoyed as she ran out of the office. Huamin had a headache, so he took out the cold medicine from his bag and took 2 pills. She had been exhausted recently, and it was about time for her to get an injection. However, she didn't have time, so she could only take the medicine. Only Bella knew that even she felt bad for a young lady. She heard a ding from her WeChat. She casually opened it and saw a voice message from Zhu Lingling. I'm flying back to Sea City this afternoon. Come and pick me up. I want to eat roasted pig trotters. Don't you think I look like a pig trotter? Huamin replied. You do, but the taste is a little off. You don't smell as good as pork trotters. Fuck you, idiot. It was only when he quarreled with Zhu Lingling that Huamin felt that he was still young. What time will you arrive in the afternoon? I'll pick you up. You don't have to lend it to me. My family's police will pick me up. Just find a good hotel and wait for me. Tycoon, remember to bring more. You'll pay the bill. Well, you take me and I'll take the money. Huamin smiled. Just then Bella knocked on the door and entered. A young lady, did you watch the live broadcast? What live broadcast? Huamin was slightly surprised. Why don't you turn on the TV? I think your cousin went on a reality show and complained about you. Bella stuttered. Huamin had a bad feeling about this. Cousin? Was it Yang Xiaoping? Bella took out the remote control and handed it to Huamin. She turned on the TV and tuned to a local satellite channel. It was a live broadcast of a reality show called Young Girls in Their Prime. Yang Xiaoping looked completely different from before. Not only did she look fashionable, but she also seemed to have undergone some minor plastic surgery. The traces of hyaluronic acid were obvious. My cousin Huamin. How should I put it? She's not as nice as she looks. Everyone has a dark side. When I was living at my aunt's house, she accused me of stealing money and kicked me out. I didn't tell my aunt about this. After all, she's old and I don't want to give her a hard time. My cousin Huamin is... Upon seeing this, Huamin was very unhappy. Cousin? Live broadcast? Reality show? Complaints? How interesting. Chapter 14:15. Bella watched TV as she observed a young lady's expression. A young lady, do you want to call the TV station and complain? No need. But it's not good for you to say things like that. It's okay, let her say what she wants. Yang Xiaoping's comments on the reality show became the hottest topic of the day. She even went as far as to create a Weibo account. There were even some fans who liked to say that she was real and had a straightforward personality. In the afternoon, a well-known media outlet interviewed Huamin exclusively. After the video of the interview was released, it became the front page of all the major media outlets. The title of the article was Cousin? Huamin says he doesn't know her well. In the video, Huamin's attitude was calm. He wasn't angry or annoyed at all. His aura was firm and steady. Mrs. Qin is Yang Xiaoping, who appeared on the reality show Your Cousin? Yes, she's my mother's brother's daughter. Then why haven't you guys been seeing each other often? She's so close to you, but she's not as close as you are to Yang, an outsider. Because we used to be very poor. When I was young, my mother had a hard time raising my brother and I. My uncle's family probably hated us for not living up to his expectations, so he never hung out with my mother. That's why this is the first time I've met my cousin. She said you framed her for stealing, is that true or? The host asked. The jewelry store must have a video of her stealing the jewelry and selling it. I don't think you can frame her for something like that, unless you really did it. Then according to her, you chased her out? It's true. My mother always gave her money and provided her with food and shelter. She even took my mother's jewelry and sold it. I don't think it's a matter of forgiveness, it's a matter of character. We wouldn't let a person with bad character live in our family, regardless of whether she's a relative or a friend. Does your mother know about this? She didn't know at first, but now that she's on the reality show, I'm sure my mother knows about it. Do you have any advice regarding this matter? No, I don't want to cause trouble, but I'm not afraid of trouble either. I don't think Yang Xiaoping is that scheming. I'm afraid she was used by someone. Your company's legal team is very strong. Will you issue a lawyer's letter? No, I won't make things difficult for my mother. After all, I'm her niece. I won't go to court. Some netizens say that this woman is trying to gain popularity and gain attention. What do you think? I don't have any opinions. I don't have any opinions about those people and things that I don't care about. They all say that Mrs. Qin is very generous, and I've seen it for myself today. Thank you for accepting our exclusive interview, and I wish you a happy life. Thank you. Finally, can you tell us how the pre-sales of Eternal Light are going? The host asked with a smile. Very good. The first batch is already in production. I hope Eternal Light sells well. Thank you. Huamin thanked him again and walked off the stage. She didn't say much about Yang Xiaoping. After all, they weren't on the same level, so there was no need to take it to heart. She also didn't need to use her top legal team to deal with Yang Xiaoping. She didn't have the right to do so. After Huamin's interview was released, some enthusiastic netizens began to speculate about who was telling the truth between Yang Xiaoping and Huamin. One said she didn't steal anything and was wrongly accused. The other said she stole something and sold it. Therefore, some curious netizens began to investigate all the major jewelry stores. That night, a jewelry store employee anonymously posted a screenshot of Yang Xiaoping's surveillance camera, which showed that she had indeed been to the jewelry store and sold a large amount of gold jewelry. As soon as the evidence was posted, Yang Xiaoping's Weibo was immediately attacked. Some people even wanted to hunt her down. Because of this, Huamin and Yang Xiaoping both became one of the hottest topics on Weibo. Chapter 14-16. Huamin's new products were also hyped up, and their sales skyrocketed. Yang Xiaoping didn't seem to be convinced, so she posted on Weibo that night. I like to kick people when they're down, what can you guys do about it? Come on, all you haters are welcome to attack me. GK was currently plagued by negative news, so it was indeed a bad idea to smear Huamin's reputation at a time like this. Yang Xiaoping originally wanted to smear Huamin's reputation, but she failed and was slapped in the face. In the end, she decided to do whatever she could to become famous. Tens of thousands of netizens left comments on her Weibo, cursing her and tagging Huamin. Yang Xiaoping, you bitch. I think your name is Yang Xiaoping, how dare you call yourself Mian's cousin? Shameless. Slut Yang, seeing that you're courting death, I mourn for you in advance. I finally understand why Mrs. Qin didn't even bother to sue you for defamation. It's because you don't deserve it. Bitch Yang, you're shamelessly trying to ride on Huamin's coattails to become famous. You're a fighter among bitches. I heard your whole family is snobbish. When Huamin didn't have money, you all hid far away. Now you're trying to claim his cousin, aren't you ashamed? No matter how much plastic surgery you do, you won't be able to hide your country bumpkin face. You're still trying to go against Huamin? How stupid are you? With Huamin's IQ, even if you dug him out and put him on a scale, he'd still be 2 pounds heavier than you. Stupid bitch Yang Xiaoping. Yang Xiaoping wasn't angry at all when tens of thousands of netizens scolded her. Instead, she felt proud. Just then, Song Yishuan called her. What's wrong with you? Didn't you say that she accused you of stealing money? How come you're the one who stole money now? Song Yishuan frowned and cursed. When she first contacted Yang Xiaoping, she pretended to be friends with her and gave her gifts so that she could use them one day. Yang Xiaoping finally found a team to work with, so she and Song Yishuan began to smear Huamin. She even said that Huamin accused her of stealing, but Song Yishuan actually believed her. Who would have thought that he had been tricked by this village girl? Song Yishuan was the one who pulled strings to get her on the reality show. She didn't expect to be slapped in the face so soon. Song Yishuan was furious. My cousin is a scheming person. She probably hired a water army or something to clear her name, right? Forget it, I don't care. Anyway, don't say that you know me no matter what kind of media you accept. Xin, what about the 200,000 you promised me? I'll give it to you tonight. Let's meet tonight. I'll give you cash. Song Yishuan was very cautious. She was afraid that the bank might have records of the transaction, and she would be in trouble if they found out about it. After all, Huamin was such a meticulous person. Alright, see you tonight. Yang Xiaoping was quite pleased with herself. After all, she could live such a carefree life with her black cousin. Sky blessing court. Huamin was busy the whole day, so he went to see his mother that night. His mother called him to ask about what had happened. Mom, I'm off work. Mian, what's going on? Why did Xiaoping say that on TV? Don't worry, we'll talk about it slowly. Huamin placed his bag on the sofa and sat down with his mother. I saw it on TV. I really don't know what's going on with Xiaoping. Why did she say that? It's bad for you guys. Plus, didn't she go out to work? Why is she on TV? Mom, Xiaoping was the one who took your jewelry when you lost it last time. Yang Meirong was slightly surprised. Chapter 14-17. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to get mad. After all, she's your niece. I easily found the transaction records at the jewelry store. I exposed her and she was scared, so she tried to get it back. Then I kicked her out. No wonder. I was wondering why she suddenly left. Yang Meirong finally understood. That kid. I was so nice to her. Yang Meirong was a little sad. Mom, not all sincerity can be exchanged for sincerity. Seriously, I even asked her to give your uncle a lot of things and money during Chinese New Year. I can't believe she still tried to defame you after everything I did. She's so heartless. It's fine, I don't mind. I went on an exclusive interview today and explained everything. I also promoted my company's new product, so it won't affect anything. But Mom, what if Xiaoping comes to you? I won't let her in. Yang Meirong seemed angry. Xiaoping isn't that pure. I hope you won't interact with her anymore. Upon hearing his mother's words, Huamin relaxed. That night, Yang Meirong made Huamin 2 bowls of coarse grain noodles. Then, she drove home and went to her study to organize the company's documents. She finally understood why Qinchu was so busy after work every day. The workload at GK was like an ancient emperor reviewing memorials. The documents piled up like a mountain. She dove into the documents and began to focus on her work. On the other hand, Hua Xiqin seemed to be very unhappy with Yang Xiaoping. Slandering Ta Mian was absolutely intolerable. At first, he thought that Song Yishuan instigated Yang Xiaoping. Later, his people investigated and found out that Song Yishuan had been in contact with Yang Xiaoping. Boss, they're meeting tonight? Oh good, I'm going to give them a surprise. Hua Xiqin raised his index finger and kissed it. That night, after Yang Xiaoping and Song Yishuan met, they left the restaurant. She was hit by a speedily modified race car. Song Yishuan broke 3 of her ribs. Yang Xiaoping was in a more serious condition. Her left kneecap was fractured, and there were many abrasions all over her body. Both of them were sent to the hospital overnight for emergency treatment. By the time Huamin finished his work, it was already past 11 p.m. She had planned to have dinner with Lingling and Gao Ran today, but Yang Xiaoping's incident suddenly happened. Therefore, she changed the appointment to tomorrow night. She only noticed the news on her phone when she went to bed after taking a shower. Since Song Yishuan's identity was sensitive, she had to remain anonymous. On the other hand, Yang Xiaoping's car accident was widely reported. Many netizens felt very satisfied and said that this was Bitch Yang's retribution. There were also many bored netizens who directly went to Huamin's Weibo to spam. Mian has been avenged. Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Hua Xiqin Private Villa Song Yishuan came back from visiting Song Yishuan at the hospital and did not go home. When she returned, Hua Xiqin was drinking red wine in the living room in his pajamas. Did you get someone to hit Xinshin? Song Yishuan asked angrily. What? Aren't you happy? Didn't that pig-like cousin of yours almost disfigure you when she was speeding? Isn't it better if she's dead? Hua Xiqian admitted to it and didn't even bother pretending to be innocent. It was obvious how arrogant he was. Hua Xiqian, are you crazy? Song Yishe roared. Chapter 14:18. After Song Yishe found out that Song Yishuan was in a car accident, she immediately went to the hospital with her family. She originally thought that it was a hit-and-run accident. However, when Song Yishe found out that Song Yishuan and Yang Xiaoping were hit together, she immediately became suspicious. At first, she even suspected that Huamin hired someone to do this. However, after thinking about it, she realized that Huamin was smart and wouldn't do something like this. After all, this was a show, and it would be bad if someone caught them red-handed. If it wasn't Huamin and Qin Chu wasn't in town, then the only person who could be so fast and ruthless could only be Hua Xiqian. According to Song Yishuan, the car was driving really fast and deliberately hit her. Luckily, she reacted just a little bit faster, so she only broke a few ribs. However, Yang Xiaoping wasn't so lucky. Her leg was broken, and it was said that it was a comminuted fracture. The surgery was very difficult. The Song family was very powerful. In order to cover up this news, they didn't even let the media report about Song Yishuan's car accident. They even changed their name to Wang Mao in the news. This way no one in the group would notice them. They would only notice Yang Xiaoping. The more Song Yishe thought about it, the more scared she became. Therefore she directly drove back to the mansion. As expected, Hua Xiqian was home. Hua Xiqian, are you going to treat anyone who hurts Huamin as a thorn in your side? Smart. Hua Xiqian raised his wine glass and smiled. Haha, then your love for her is so petty. Does she know that you're doing this for her? She doesn't need to know as long as she's safe. I won't let anyone who hurts her go, including you. Hua Xiqian sneered, sending chills down Song Yishe's spine. Ever since she found out about Hua Xiqian's intentions, Song Yishe didn't have the heart to hurt Huamin. Compared to Huamin, Hua Xiqian was simply too terrifying. You've really gone mad. If she knew how perverted you are, she would probably hate you even more. She'll fall in love with me one day. You should pray for me that I can defeat Qin Chu, because that's the only way you'll have a chance to be with Qin Chu. I'm not as despicable as you. Although my methods aren't honorable, I won't joke around with people's lives, do you know that? If Shen Shen dies today, my uncle will not let you off. Song Yishe didn't have a good relationship with Song Yishuan. However, her uncle only had one daughter. If she was really killed, the Song family would definitely not let the matter rest. To her surprise, Hua Xiqian slowly placed his wine glass on the table. Then he narrowed his eyes and smiled at Song Yishe. Who is your uncle? I don't even care about your father, so why would I care about your uncle? Do you really think that the Song family is so great? What a joke. Song Yishe was so angry that her face turned pale, but she didn't dare to respond. She didn't think that angering a psychopath like Hua Xiqian was a rational thing to do. All right, you can record it and hand it over to the police. Song Yishe froze, but you have to make sure that you'll be able to get there alive. After speaking, Hua Xiqian smiled evilly and turned around to go upstairs. Song Yishe was so scared that her face was drained of all color. This was a direct threat. Hua Xiqian was truly a cold-blooded demon. Like Huamin, Song Yishe had long suspected that Jiang Linyue's death in T-City had something to do with Hua Xiqian. However, she didn't have any evidence, so she didn't dare to investigate further. By now, the fact that Hua Xiqian hired someone to run over Song Yishuan and Yang Xiaoping was an open secret. Just how confident was he that he could control everything, that he could turn the world upside down? He didn't even care about her uncle and dad. Then, how could Qin Chu face Hua Xiqian, a psychopath who treated human lives like dirt? Would he still have a chance of winning? Song Yishe suddenly felt worried about Qin Chu. She was truly worried, not like the fake love she had in the past. 12:30 p.m., Huamin had just fallen asleep when he received a call from his mother. Mian. Xiaoping was in a car accident. Your uncle just called me and asked me to pay for her surgery. Yang Meirong seemed conflicted. Chapter 14:19. Oh? Huamin couldn't tell if Huamin was in a good mood or not. I was wondering, what do you think? The money is yours, you can decide. I won't spend a single cent on her surgery. Huamin didn't think she was that kind of Mother Teresa. She had just been slandered, and now she had to pay for her surgery. Money didn't grow on trees. Perhaps she could tell that Huamin was a little upset. Yang Meirong continued, your uncle said that Xiaoping's leg is broken, and it's very serious. Her kneecap is also crushed and the surgery will be very difficult. The surgery will cost about 300,000 yuan, but I don't have that much money so I can't take it. After all, we're relatives, so I think we should pay her 30,000 yuan first. I don't care about the rest. It's up to you. Mian, are you mad at Mom? No. Actually, I think we're repaying evil with good. We're doing this for ourselves. Okay, go to bed early, I just wanted to let you know. Okay. Huamin wouldn't give Yang Xiaoping a single cent, but she didn't have the right to stop her mother. After all, blood was thicker than water, and her mother was a soft-hearted person. If her uncle called in the middle of the night, he would definitely cry and throw a tantrum. It was normal for her mother to give him 30 or 20,000 yuan. She didn't have to be angry. The next morning, Huamin received a call from Yang as soon as he arrived at the company. A young lady, what's wrong? The president, Yang Meirong stuttered. Yang stuttered, scaring Huamian to the core. What's wrong with Qin? The president's in a bad mood, he didn't eat breakfast. Upon hearing this, Huamin finally let out a sigh of relief. You scared me to death. You're halfway through your sentence. No, the problem is that the president didn't want you to worry, so he didn't tell you about all this mess. The truth is Jiang Linhua has a new lead. The president found out that Jiang Linhua left an important item in the bank before she died. He finally found someone to get it out, but on the way here there was a car accident. The person died on the spot and the item disappeared. What? Huamin's heart sank. It was actually another car accident. It was really not peaceful recently. Huamin finally understood. No wonder Qin was still in T-City. It turned out that Jiang Linhua had found another clue. Unfortunately, when he was about to get the item, something happened. This matter was really strange. No wonder Qin was in a bad mood. Then, is Qin alright? It's nothing. The boss is just in a bad mood. He hasn't been talking or eating. Okay, I got it. After hanging up, Huamin opened WeChat and sent Qin a red pocket. The amount was 520. However, the red pocket said, "Honey, be happy every day." Qin immediately replied with a smiley face. Then he transferred 5,200 yuan to Huamin. Huamin sent him a voice message. Honey, you lost money. I sent you 520, and you sent me 5,200. After doing the math, you still lost 51.94. 8 yuan. Honey, you're really good at math. Huamin, what did you have for breakfast? Qin kanji. Huamin, lying children's noses grow longer. Qin Huamin, be a good boy and eat or else I won't like you anymore. Qin then who do you like? Huamin, I like Suyu. He's good looking and rich. Most importantly, he eats breakfast obediently every morning. Qin Huamian, fly over here right now. I'll show you the color of my belt. Huamin, haha, I won't go. The husband and wife were bickering and someone was suddenly implicated. Imperial Star Headquarters, achoo. Suyu sneezed twice in a row. President Su, the morning meeting is in 15 minutes. Do you want to eat breakfast first? Assistant asked tentatively. Chapter 1420. I don't want it. Suyu refused without hesitation. Just now, someone praised him for eating his breakfast obediently. It seemed like Lord Su wasn't worthy of compliments at all. At the whole corporation, boss, I got it. Did that person see it? Hua Xiqian asked lazily. We're not sure if that person saw the information inside or not, but logically speaking he shouldn't have. After all, he's just Qin errand boy, he shouldn't be that bold. Where's that person now? He's dead. Okay, you can leave now. Yes, sir. After his subordinate left, Hua Xiqian picked up the craft paper bag. He didn't think that bitch Jiang Linhua would have a backup plan. She was already dead, but she still caused so much trouble. It really pissed him off. If he didn't think this through, the item would probably be in Qin hands right now. It was better to avoid unnecessary trouble. Hua Xiqian slowly opened the craft paper bag. It was wrapped in layers and layers. It was obvious that Jiang Linhua was very careful. As expected, inside was a letter from Jiang Linhua as well as a USB drive. It contained audio recordings of her conversations with Hua Xiqian. Jiang Linhua also said in the letter that if news of her death got out, this paper bag would automatically be mailed out a month later. It seemed like Qin acted quickly. It only took him a few days to find the location of this item. If Qin couldn't find it, then the item would still be mailed out a month after Jiang Linhua's death. But where would it be mailed to? The address and recipient surprised Hua Xiqian. South Side Recuperation Center, Neurology Department, Huamin? He didn't think that at the last moment the person that Jiang Linhua trusted the most was Huamin. This is truly ironic. Hua Xiqin smiled as he picked up a lighter and slowly lit the paper bag on fire. The information inside instantly turned into ashes. Ha! You bitch, you're dead and you're still causing trouble? Don't worry, my little sister Mian will never have the chance to see your letters. Huamin went to work on time in the morning. After a busy morning he finally had some free time. She sat in her office and quietly looked out the window. To be honest, she missed her time at Southside. Although being a doctor was tiring, it was her favorite job. If he was in the hospital, he should have finished treating many patients by now, right? Should I go to the hospital's cafeteria with Xiaojia? Ding. She received a WeChat message. Comrade Huamin, are you going to treat me or not? We haven't had breakfast yet. Aha, please. The two of you can come now. There's a very good restaurant downstairs called Bamboo Garden of Sanyu. Okay, wait for us. We'll be there in 20 minutes. Zhu Lingling had a stomach full of complaints. She had not seen Huamin for many days. She had finally flown back from overseas and wanted to get together with him, but this guy had been busy all the time. 20 minutes later, at the restaurant downstairs, Huamin saw Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran. The two of them were so lovey-dovey that they even had to hold hands while walking. Ahem, can you be more careful with your image in public? Huamin coughed on purpose. To his surprise, Zhu Lingling immediately rolled her eyes at him. How dare you say that? You have no right to say that to us. Don't you remember how inhumane you and Qinchu used to be? Huamin smiled but did not say anything. After they sat down, Zhu Lingling picked up the menu and began to order. Mr. Rich, did you bring enough money? I'm going to rip you off today. Don't worry about it. If you can't finish it, you can take it away. Huamin chuckled. Gao Ran wrapped one arm around Zhu Lingling's neck. Ling, can we not embarrass ourselves? Can't I afford to feed you? It's like I haven't eaten in hundreds of years. Yeah, you can't afford to feed me. Your monthly salary isn't even enough to buy me a Dior bag. Gao Ran. Huamin laughed as he watched the two of them bicker. He suddenly missed Qinchu. An occasion like this would only be complete if Mr. Qin was there. Gao Ran turned around and asked, Qinchu isn't back yet. Chapter 1421. Huamin shook his head. Isn't he done with T-City? I sent him a WeChat message the day before yesterday and told him that the compensation was done. Gao Ran was a bit puzzled. There are still some other things to take care of, but I think he'll be back soon. Emichim, let's meet up when he gets back. Okay. They were happily eating dinner, but halfway through Huamin received a call from Bella. Then he stood up apologetically and said, You guys take your time, I have to go back to the company. You're leaving just like that? Zhu Lingling didn't want him to leave. When Qinchu gets back I'll be free. Then I'll accompany you to eat, drink and have fun. Okay, let's go. Remember to pay the bill. Huamin chuckled. After paying the bill he went straight back to the company. After Huamin left, Zhu Lingling felt a bit down. Why aren't you eating? Gao Ran noticed that something was wrong. I think Mian is too tired. She clearly doesn't like managing the company but she still wants to do it. She even resigned from Southside. Seriously, my heart aches when I see her like this. I know all too well what she likes and dislikes over the years, but she did this. It's all for Qinchu, Gao Ran continued. Zhu Lingling nodded. So, if I hear anyone say that Mian doesn't love Qinchu more, I'm going to fucking kill them? Zhu Lingling was so angry that she cursed. Don't take the words of the bystanders seriously, they're just here to watch the show. Only friends like us know the real situation. Qinchu and Huamin don't love each other more, nor do they love each other more deeply. I can only say that they both view each other as the most important people in their lives. Yes, that's right. Zhu Lingling nodded in agreement. Lingling, you too. What do you mean, me too? Zhu Lingling was slightly stunned. To me, you are the most important person in my life. Although I'm not as rich as Qinchu, my love for you is no less than his love for Huamin. Gao Ran was a clumsy person. Because he worked in the city bureau, he had a bad temper. Zhu Lingling was already used to it. She liked to bicker and choke people. But occasionally hearing such emotional words from his mouth really warmed her heart. Zhu Lingling said shyly, Although I'm not as smart as Mian, I'm not a coward. If you need me, I can give up my job for you. I'm willing to risk my life to be your spy. Undercover? Forget it. I'm afraid I won't be able to sit with my weight and will sink to the bottom. Gao Ran, this couple started quarreling as they loved each other, but as they quarreled they got back together. This was how they got along. By the time Huamin returned to the company, it was already 2:30 in the afternoon. Seeing that the company wasn't particularly busy, she drove to the first hospital. Chin-Chu's father's condition was more serious this time. He was hospitalized for more than a week and still hadn't been discharged. When Ho-Mian arrived at the hospital, she talked to the attending doctor first to get a better understanding of the situation before entering the ward. "Dad, Mian, you're here." Chin Yumin put down the book in his hand. "Where's my mom?" "She went home to change clothes." "Why are you here? Are you busy at the company?" "Not now." "Dad, how are you feeling today?" Ho-Min sat down and poured Chin Yumin a glass of water. "Pretty good. When can I be discharged?" There's no rush. Stay for a while." Ho-Min chuckled. Chin Yumin reached out to touch the rims of his reading glasses and asked in a serious tone, "Mian, tell me the truth. Did I find out about some other illness?" Chapter 1422. No. Ho-Min smiled. "Don't lie to me. If I'm really fine, Dr. Lu wouldn't refuse me every time I asked to be discharged." Chin Yumin was actually a wise old man. Ho-Min didn't say anything and just looked at him quietly. "I'm different from your mom. I'm not as gullible as she is. If my blood pressure was just too high, I would have taken injections and medicine every day and it would have gone down a long time ago. Why can't I be discharged? So, don't lie to me. If you're really sick, let me know." "Dad, Mian, although I'm your senior and you're my junior, I still respect you because you're an excellent doctor. Don't hide it from me." Chin Yumin was very clear with his words, and Ho-Min didn't want to continue hiding it from him. "Dad, there's a black shadow in the center of your head." "Black shadow?" Chin Yumin was slightly surprised. Ho-Min nodded. "I could tell from the CT scan, but it's not very big, so I'm not sure what it is yet. Could it be a brain tumor?" "I'm not sure yet. We'll have to wait for further pathological analysis, because the location of the tumor is too sensitive. You might not know this, but the center of the brain is the most important area. It directly affects the sensory function of the central nervous system and is also the most important cortical reflex area. If something grows in that area and presses on the nerves, it will cause seizures and aphasia. In serious cases, it will cause convulsions and paralysis." Ho-Min spoke very slowly, word by word. Chin Yumin's expression became more and more complicated. Seeing his father-in-law's serious expression, Ho-Min comforted him. "Dad, don't think too much. It could be that your blood pressure was too high and caused a rupture in your brain, causing a blood clot. Anyway, the results aren't out yet, so you have to be positive. Don't give yourself too much pressure. Patients shouldn't overthink things." "I'm fine, Mian. The truth is, I'm old and I'm not in good health. I'm prepared for this. Don't tell Chin-Chu and your mom about this yet. I don't want them to worry." "Well, you have to cooperate well and continue to stay in the hospital for observation for a while, okay?" "Yes." Chin Yumin nodded solemnly. After sitting in the hospital for a while, Ho-Min returned to the company. Along the way, she began to feel uneasy. She had some reservations about her father-in-law's condition and did not tell him everything. Dr. Lu had already made it very clear that the black shadow in the brain was a brain tumor, but he did not know whether it was malignant or not. It wasn't a blood clot at all. The last time he was hospitalized, there was no such thing. Now it had grown to the size of a soybean. If it was a brain tumor, regardless of whether it was benign or malignant, it would require a craniotomy. That was a very difficult surgery because that thing would grow very quickly. Once it grew too big, it would directly press on the cranial nerves. Ho-Min's heart was heavy. She really didn't know how to tell Chin-Chu. He had been troubled enough recently, plus, if her father-in-law's condition didn't look good, his life would be in danger, but right now she had no news at all. If her father-in-law passed away without seeing his grandchildren, Ho-Min felt like she would be the sinner of the Chin family for all eternity. The more she thought about it, the more depressed she felt. Ho-Min's face was gloomy the entire way back. When she returned to the company, Ho-Min once again threw herself into work. Since Chin-Chu wasn't home, she was bored at home, so she decided to work overtime at the company. After being so busy, by the time she came back to her senses, she looked at her watch and saw that it was almost 11 o'clock at night. Ho-Min yawned tiredly. She turned off the lights and walked out of the office. However, she suddenly realized that the elevator had stopped working. Oh my God, there were more than 30 floors. Did she have to walk down? She frantically pressed the elevator button a few times, but there was no response. Ho-Min braced herself and found the stairs. Just as she was about to walk down, the sensor light in the staircase was turned off. Ho-Min held the flashlight on her phone and carefully walked down. When she reached the 29th floor, suddenly, she heard the sound of footsteps coming up the stairs. It was very heavy and very strange. At this time all the employees were off work. Who would take the stairs up? At this thought, Huamin's hair stood on end. She instinctively turned around and ran upstairs. Chapter 14:23. As Huamin ran, she vaguely heard the footsteps behind her quicken. She panicked even more. She had never stayed at GK until this late, so she wasn't familiar with most of the switches. She could only remember the layout of the top floor, but it was so late and the elevator was broken. Who could go up to the top 30 floors? Security? No, GK's security guards patrolled in pairs to prevent accidents. Could it be that Mr. Chin was back? The top floor only had the president's office, conference room, lounge area, and VIP lounge. Normal employees couldn't go to these places. Could it be that Chin Chu was back in the middle of the night? But the problem was that Chin Chu didn't call in advance, so he didn't know she was working overtime. Could it be that he asked Bella? Huamin had a lot of questions as she ran. She suddenly had a bold idea. She wanted to stop and see who this person was. What if it was a suspect who came in to steal something? That way she could see what he looked like and file a case tomorrow. With this thought, Huamin slowed down and stopped running. She forced herself to turn around and see who it was. From the sound of the footsteps, it was probably one person. Because if there were two people, their footsteps would be messy. If the suspect was alone, Huamin might not be afraid. If the person had a chest weapon, then it wouldn't be too late to run. Also, Chin Chu had a stun baton in his office drawer. It wouldn't be a problem to use it for self-defense. Huamin stopped at the edge of the hallway. Next to her was the conference room and further in was the president's office. Just then the footsteps got closer and closer. She started to feel uneasy, and even her breathing became rapid. The voice-activated lights in the hallway suddenly stopped working. Huamin ran for so long, but the lights didn't turn on. Luckily they were in the central district. Even though it was dark, there were still neon lights from the street and the lights from the building next door. Huamin held the high-beam flashlight on his phone tightly in his hand. When the person turned around and reached the end of the corridor, Huamin saw a figure. It was a tall man. The two of them stood at the end of the corridor. There was a distance of about 18 meters between them. Because it was too dark, the man walked over and approached Huamin. She suddenly raised the flashlight in her hand and shone it. She almost screamed in fright. It was Huasiqian's face. But it was different from usual. How was it different? Usually Huasiqian was all smiles. When he saw Huamin, his expression was very relaxed. However, the Huasiqian in front of him had a ferocious look in his eyes. It seemed to be a wolf that was about to catch its prey. The look in his eyes made Huamian's hair stand on end. She wasn't even sure if this person was Huasiqian, or if he looked like Huasiqian. She had a feeling that if Huasiqian caught her, then it would be over. At this thought, she immediately reacted and ran. Huasiqian's footsteps also became faster. In this quiet night, he was able to quietly cut off GK's security system and countless cameras on the screen. He turned off the voice-activated lights and elevators, just to surround Huamin. Was it easy for him? Huamin was panting as he ran in front of Huasiqian. He felt like his heart was going to jump out of his chest. Huasiqian, on the other hand, was chasing him more and more intensely. There was an evil smile on his face. Mian, tonight let's play cat and mouse, okay? If I catch you, then. Huasiqian licked his lips. He couldn't wait any longer. After Huamin ran out of the corridor, he had nowhere to go. If he wanted to go downstairs, he could only take the stairs. However, that was the direction Huasiqian was at. The elevator malfunctioned. In the end, she gritted her teeth and entered the president's office. She knew that once she entered the room, it meant that she was at the end of her rope. Once the person behind her caught up, it would be a head-on confrontation. Chapter 14:24. Seeing Huamin enter the president's office, Huasiqian smiled triumphantly. He knew that once Huamin entered one of the rooms, he would be like a turtle in a jar. It would be impossible for him to get out. He walked to the door of the president's office and looked at the half-closed door. After hesitating for a moment, he reached out and pushed the door open. A folder fell from above, but it didn't hit him. This was a trick that middle school students used to prank their teachers or other classmates. Usually they would put a blackboard eraser on top of it. He didn't expect Huamin to use such a childish trick. Not to mention that he wasn't hit. Even if he was, what could he do? It was just a folder, it couldn't hurt him at all. His Mian was so adorable. Huamin pushed the door open proudly and walked in. It was as if he could see the dawn of victory. It was as if this game of cat and mouse had already been decided. At this moment, Huamin was hiding under Chin Chu's desk in his office. She held the stun baton tightly in her hand. She knew that if Huasiqin went crazy she wouldn't be a match for him. She was only 160 centimeters tall, while Huasiqin was 180 centimeters tall. They were 20 centimeters apart, and Huasiqin was definitely very strong. She had never been so scared before. She was really scared, not for anything else but for Huasiqin's beast-like gaze tonight. She felt that if she was caught tonight she would be prey and would be at the mercy of others. Huamin listened to Huasiqin's footsteps, then closed his eyes and prayed silently. Huasiqin might have been too proud and underestimated Huamin. He was so focused on the mechanism on the door that he forgot about his feet. When his feet were pricked by something, he realized that there was something underneath. He stopped, lowered his head, and took out a medium-sized rivet from the bottom of his leather shoe. However, it pierced through the bottom of his shoe and hurt his feet. Because he put all his weight on his feet when he lifted his feet, he didn't pay attention and stepped on it subconsciously. At this moment he finally understood that the little mechanism on his head was to distract him. The real mechanism was here. He felt a slight tingling pain on his feet, but that wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that his left foot that stepped on the rivet began to numb. He suddenly realized that Huamin must have done something to the rivet. Huasiqin wanted to eat her tonight, but he was tricked by the little girl. He sighed slightly and didn't walk in. He knew how strong the anesthetic Huamian made herself was. When he was Huamian mean he was talking president and president was to Huamin's, it means Huamin, Huamin's. During experiments, a small dose was enough to knock out 5 adult white mice. Huasiqin felt that if he continued to confront Huamin, his movements would be slow and he would be the one at a disadvantage. Therefore, Huasiqin reluctantly pulled out the rivet on his foot and quickly turned to leave. Huamin finally opened her eyes when she heard Huamin's footsteps getting further and further away. Her heart was beating very fast and she was gasping for breath. Did he really go far away? Did he deliberately set up a smoke bomb to lure her in? She couldn't believe it. After waiting for 10 minutes and seeing that there was no movement, she immediately took out her phone and sent a WeChat message to Ni Yang. Come to the office and pick me up. The elevator is broken. Take the stairs. Ni Yang had just finished listening to the demo of his new album and hadn't gone to bed yet. When he received Huamin's WeChat message, he didn't hesitate. He immediately drove to the company headquarters. Half an hour later, the office door was pushed open. Sister Huamin, are you in there? Chapter 1425. Ni Yang asked hesitantly as he looked around the dark office. Huamin crawled out from under the desk when she heard Ni Yang's voice. Oh my god, sis, are you playing hide-and-seek with me? Ni Yang was shocked when she saw Huamin crawl out from under the desk. It's a long story, I'll tell you later, Huamin said as she turned on the lights. Then she saw the small nail that she had placed at the door. Huamin lowered her head and picked it up. There was still a bit of blood on it. Thank you for saving me. She carefully put the nail away and followed Ni Yang downstairs. When they went to the security room it was just as Huamin thought. The security guard on duty didn't know what happened, but it seemed like the system had been hacked. The elevator, the security cameras, and even the voice-activated lights in the hallway were all broken. Huamin walked out with a heavy heart. She briefly told Ni Yang about what happened, but she didn't tell him that the person she saw was Huasiqin. She didn't tell him about that. Oh my god sis, you almost ran into a psycho. What if you were in danger? Ni Yang was scared out of his wits. I'm fine now, aren't I? Huamin smiled. How can you still smile? What if that person didn't step on your nail? What would you have done? Ni Yang felt scared for Huamin just thinking about it. The chances of that happening weren't high. What if that person didn't fall for it and wasn't drugged? Who knew what would happen to Huamin right now? Aren't we safe now? Plus, even though my little tricks are a little childish, they're all very useful. Huamin was very satisfied with the 2 little interlocking traps she designed at the door. This was a common psychological problem. Most people would pay attention to what's above their heads and ignore what's below their feet. After being taken away by the robbers, Huamin was very careful about her own safety. After all, she was the wife of the president of the largest financial group. It was normal for her to be targeted by criminals. Therefore, Huamian carried the super anesthetic she had developed with her on a silver needle. When she wore a white lab coat, the silver needle was in her chest pocket. When she wore casual clothes, she would hide it in her high heels. She added a small screw to the base of the silver needle and turned it into a rivet, which became her life-saving straw. It was originally meant to be used in case of an emergency, but who would have thought that it would come in handy tonight? If the person tonight wasn't Huamian, but some other woman she would have been slaughtered. But why did Hua Xiqin suddenly appear? How did he know she was on duty tonight? Was it premeditated or was it a coincidence? Hua Min had so many questions in her mind. She originally wanted to call the police, but she was afraid that if the police came, the media would be alerted, and the company's reputation would be affected. She also couldn't ask Su Yu and the others to pick her up. Rumors would spread like wildfire. Jixin wasn't home, so only her little brother and I Yang came to pick her up. Sis, you must be hungry. I'll take you to eat something first. No, I'm not hungry. You can drive me back. I'll leave my car here. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay. Hua Mian was scared out of her wits. She felt weak all over, and Ai Yang drove Hua Min back to South Hill Manor in his white Porsche Cayenne. Don't tell anyone about what happened tonight. I don't want people to know. I know, sis. Okay, you should go back and rest. You have work tomorrow. Sis, are you okay? You don't look well. Do you want to go to the hospital? And Ai Yang was a little worried. No, I'm fine. You should go. Drive slowly. Okay. After Ai Yang left, Hua Min tiredly went upstairs. A young lady? Uncle Li heard her voice and walked out. His sudden shout startled Hua Min. A young lady, do you want me to prepare a midnight snack? No. Hua Min walked into her bedroom on the second floor with a pale face. She didn't even want to take a shower as soon as she walked in. She crawled into bed and covered her head with the blanket. Then he fell into a deep sleep. At 3 in the morning, a familiar figure pushed open the door and walked in. He carefully lifted the blanket and gently kissed her. Help! Let go of me, let go of me! Hua Min reacted so strongly that she almost jumped up. Chapter 1426. Mian, it's me? Qin Chu shook her shoulders, trying to wake her up. Upon hearing his voice, Hua Min seemed to wake up a lot. She froze for a second and then stared at Qin Chu's face. Qin Chu? She still didn't seem to be sure. Mian, what happened? Qin Chu frowned slightly, feeling that Hua Min's reaction wasn't right. Honey, I missed you so much, sob. Then Hua Min pounced on Qin Chu and tightly hugged his neck. She actually began to cry like a little girl who had been wronged for a long time. Qin Chu gently patted her back. Don't cry, I'm sorry I just came back and made you worry. After everything in T-City was settled, Qin Chu completely closed down the branch company in T-City. It was officially no longer in operation. He was very unhappy that he didn't find the crucial evidence in Jiang Linyue's case. However, at the same time, he also discovered that Hua Xiqin's power in T-City was far more complicated than he thought. Qin Chu didn't want to keep going outside. After all, this was his main business. After thinking about it, he decided to close down the branch company first in case Hua Xiqin continued to do things. However, he didn't expect that after such a long delay Hua Min would actually cry. After hugging for a long time, Hua Min was finally willing to let go of Qin Chu. Qin Chu took out a tissue from the bedside table and gently wiped her tears. Don't cry, your eyes will be swollen tomorrow. It's okay, my eyes aren't big anyway. It doesn't matter if they're swollen or not, Hua Min said with a pout. Qin Chu couldn't help but laugh. But if you go out like this, the media will write that Mr. Qin beat up Mrs. Qin last night. Domestic violence. Upon hearing this, Hua Min smiled through her tears. Don't cry, okay? Qin Chu gently stroked her delicate cheek. Hua Min nodded. You don't even change your clothes when you sleep? Qin Chu then saw Hua Min, who had gotten out of bed wearing a black suit. Heavens, what kind of rhythm is this? Was this a side effect that Dr. Hua, who was obsessed with cleanliness, had never happened before? I'm too tired. I worked overtime too late. I don't want to change. I'm too lazy to move. I'll help you change. No. Hua Min's face reddened slightly. We've been married for so long yet you're still shy. Which part of your body haven't I seen before, Qin Chu said as he gently helped her take off her coat. Then he skillfully unbuttoned her shirt. Finally, the cream-colored panties. Hua Min lowered her head and didn't make a sound. She let Qin Chu do all this. After taking off all her clothes, Qin Chu carried her into the bathroom and started bathing her in the warm water. Okay, I can do it myself. You can leave. After Hua Min finished speaking, not only did she not see Qin Chu leaving, but he also began to take off his own clothes. Hey, what are you doing? I'm taking a shower with you. I don't want to. Hua Min covered her face with both hands, looking extremely embarrassed. Women don't mean what they say. The more you say you don't want it, the more you want it. I know you, honey. Then Qin Chu walked towards the bathtub. Pervert, The water in the bathtub splashed up into waves. Inside the bathtub, the scenery was beautiful. Huamin could only find the only happiness and endless warmth in Chinchu's body. An hour later, Chinchu wrapped Huamin in a towel, carried her into the bedroom and carefully placed her on the big bed. Then he turned around and took out a white cotton nightgown from the closet and helped Huamin put it on. "Honey, are you hungry? You're hungry?" Chinchu turned his head and looked at her gently. "I want to eat egg fried rice, the kind that's a little overcooked." Huamin pulled at the corner of the blanket with both hands and looked at Chinchu eagerly. Chapter 14:27. Egg fried rice is easy, but it's a bit overcooked. Maybe? Chinchu hesitated for a few seconds. "Is it difficult?" Huamin smiled. "No, it's not difficult at all. I'll definitely satisfy my wife's request." Chinchu put on his bathrobe and went straight to the kitchen to make Huamin fried rice. His actions startled the maids in the house. "Sir, let us do it." The aunties stood in a row. "It's okay, you guys go rest. I'll do it." Chinchu was in a rare good mood, so his tone was very gentle. Looking at the background of such a distinguished male host personally cooking fried rice for his wife, she thought to herself. The maids couldn't help but exclaim, "Sir is so handsome. I think men who cook for women are the most charming." "Yeah, Sir really loves his wife. I heard that they've been together since they were young." "That's great. The happiest thing for a woman is to have a man who loves her deeply. Madam is so happy. Madam treats Sir really well too. Didn't you guys notice that Sir went on a business trip and Madam went to the company every day? Anyway, the two of them are a match made in heaven. Just looking at them makes me think they're a match made in heaven." When Chinchu went upstairs with the fried rice, Huamin was still playing games on his phone. Chinchu walked over with a bowl. "Your Majesty, dinner is ready." "Thank you, Your Majesty. It's no trouble. I'll cook for you every day as long as you want." "That good?" Huamin chuckled. "Yeah, from now on you'll be in charge of the company and I'll cook for you at home." "Ha, that's great." Huamin was in a good mood and took a bite. The taste was surprisingly good. Egg fried rice looked simple, but it was actually a skill. He couldn't cook too much, but he couldn't cook too little either. He had to control the intensity. The saltiness was also very good, and the fragrant smell of spring onions permeated the air. Huamin picked up the spoon and fed Chinchu a bite. "Honey, you eat too." Chinchu slowly opened his mouth and took a bite. Then, one bite after another, they finished the plate of fried rice. Chinchu sighed. "I feel like I've returned to the time when we first fell in love. I want to be in love with you forever." Huamin smiled sweetly. After brushing their teeth and rinsing their mouths, they lay on the bed. Chinchu held Huamin in his arms. "Honey. Did you have a nightmare?" "Why do you ask?" Huamin was surprised. "Because when I came back to kiss you, your reaction was very intense, as if you were very scared." Huamin hesitated for a moment with a complicated look in his eyes. Then he slowly replied, Maybe it's because I haven't been sleeping well recently. I actually had nightmares." "What did you dream of?" "It's a vampire or something. Anyway, it's very scary." Huamin didn't tell Chinchu what happened tonight. If he knew, he wouldn't feel at ease. He was already very tired, and Huamin didn't want to distract him. "Honey, how's everything going in T-City?" "It's all done." "What about Jiang Linyue's body?" "We cremated her according to her parents' request and deposited her ashes in the cemetery over there. Her parents want to come back in a few days and take her ashes abroad for a proper burial. I really hope that the culprit can be brought to justice soon, so she can rest in peace." Huamin still didn't like Jiang Linyue, but death was the most important thing right now. No matter what she did, no matter how despicable she was, Huamin wouldn't tarnish her reputation one bit. The next morning, Huamin and Chinchu both went to GK. Before the morning meeting even started, Bella anxiously knocked on the door and walked in. "President Qin, a young lady." "What's wrong?" Huamin looked up. "There's a problem at GK Entertainment, you guys should go take a look." "What's the problem?" Huamin's nerves would subconsciously jump whenever he heard that there was a problem. What an eventful day, there was always an endless stream of trivial things to take care of. Before she left, Bella quietly whispered to Huamin, "A young lady, I think there's a mole there, you have to investigate." Chapter 14:28. When Chinchu and Huamin arrived, GK Entertainment was packed with people. It was as if something had really happened. "President Qin, a young lady." "President Qin. A young lady, you're here." The director of GK Entertainment was very busy with the auditions and was rarely at the company. Therefore Ni Yang's manager, Sister Ingzi, was half a housekeeper and could take care of a lot of things at the company. What happened? Huamin looked at everyone's serious expressions and asked curiously. A young lady, there's a mole in our company, Sister Ingzi said righteously. Huamin was a bit surprised. Before she could speak, Sister Ingzi continued, isn't Ni Yang going to release a new album? It's already done and we're just waiting for the promotional period to pass. We agreed to release it on the 12th of next month, but last night, a user anonymously posted many songs from his album on a famous forum, including the title track. Who would buy his album when it's officially released? Everyone can just listen to the pirated version online. Did you call the police to find out the IP address of the anonymous user? Qin Chu asked. We did, but it was useless. When we found it, we found an abandoned house that was already empty. Obviously this was planned in advance. Then why are you so sure there's a mole? Qin Chu looked at Ingzi and continued to ask. President Qin, isn't it obvious? Only the arrangers and music directors know about Ni Yang's songs, but they've all worked with us for years so they definitely wouldn't leak it. Not many people at the company know about it either. Other than me and Ni Yang and a young lady, no one else knows about it. Oh wait, there's also the new assistant. Then Ingzi glanced at Qinjie in an unfriendly manner. Everyone turned to look at Qinjie as if she was the mole. Qinjie looked a bit scared. It wasn't me, Chief. Qinjie looked at Huamin for help. Sister Ingzi, it's too early to say anything. Let's wait until we find out more about this. Do we still need to find out? Isn't it obvious? Nothing like this happened before she came here. Now even the album was leaked in advance, what the fuck? Sister Ingzi spat her gum onto the ground. She was obviously targeting Qinjie. Sister Ingzi didn't like Qinjie for a long time. Ever since she found out that Ni liked this nurse, Ingzi, she's been against Ingzi for a long time. However, Ni Yang didn't listen and continued to hang out with Qinjie. This time, after Huamian left the hospital, this woman shamelessly followed her to the company. Sister Ingzi couldn't stand the sight of her. She often made things difficult for him at work, but of course, it was behind Ni Yang's back. Just then Ni Yang glanced at Qinjie and said, President Qin, Sister Huamin, I believe in Jie. It's definitely not her. Ni Yang, you can't judge a book by its cover. Don't be so sure. What if you get slapped in the face in the future? Sister Ingzi was obviously angry. No, I don't believe in the wrong person. Maybe something went wrong somewhere else. Anyways, it's not her. She wouldn't betray me. Then, Ni Yang ignored everyone's strange looks and walked over to hold Qinjie's hand. Qinjie looked at Ni Yang excitedly. Don't be like this, everyone's watching. I just want everyone to see that we're in a relationship, so why can't we be open about it? Plus, President Qin won't restrict my relationship. I'm different from those fake idols. I won't say that I won't be in a relationship for the sake of my fans. I'm not that great. After the release of the new album, I'll announce our relationship. Ni Yang had never been so bold and persistent. No, I don't agree, Sister Ingzi refused firmly. Chapter 1429. I'm sorry, Sister Ingzi, but this is my personal business and I don't need your permission, Ni Yang said firmly. Hey, you little brat, you're all grown up now? You're going against me for a woman, a mole who betrayed you? I'll say it one more time, Jie isn't a mole. Ni Yang was very protective of Qinjie. Qinjie's heart was pounding. No one had ever been so nice to her since she was a little girl. This kind of feeling was really very exciting. Ni Yang, on the other hand, was acting like a man as he stood beside Qinjie and said these words. Huamin was also moved. This brat had really grown up. He even knew how to protect his woman. Sister Ingzi was so angry that her face turned pale. Ni Yang, you're messing around? President Qin, what should we do? Bella asked anxiously. If the new album was betrayed, it would definitely affect the sales of the new album. Qin Chu glanced at Ni Yang. I heard that you wrote a lot of the songs yourself? Yeah. Then you should write a few more songs before the new album is released. Ni Yang was dumbfounded. If you can do it, I'll allow you to announce your relationship. That's it. Then Qin Chu grabbed Huamin's hand and turned around coolly. Ni Yang's slightly troubled face turned into a smile. It wasn't hard to write a few more songs, but President Qin allowed him to announce his relationship. Wow. Ni Yang felt like the sun was shining brightly in the world. Crazy, crazy, you're all crazy. You're crazy and even President Qin is crazy, Ingzi scolded. When they walked out of the entertainment department, Qin Chu asked casually, Honey, what do you think? I don't think Jie did it. Do you trust her that much? Qin Chu asked faintly. It's not as simple as believing. If Xiao Jie is really a traitor and she only wanted to sell N.I. Yang's songs, then what is her purpose? To sell it for money? Wasn't it more beneficial to date N.I. Yang? Who would cut off their own source of income for such a small matter? If she was a mole that someone had planted long ago, then she would be too stupid to have been discovered less than a week after entering the company. Will you still be able to play in the future? That makes sense. Yes, but if you are worried, I can ask her to leave the company. Huomin never let his emotions get the better of him. He let Qinjie come because she was too stubborn. However, he ignored the fact that she might not be suitable for a big company like GK. After all, there were wars in the office. It wasn't any simpler than the hospital. No need. You only brought one person. Keep him. Qin Chu did not express any opinions from beginning to end, but he agreed with Huomin's analysis. It was very objective. It was very unlikely that Qinjie was a traitor. If everyone knew that she was a traitor, then how bad would she be? However, there was still one key question that couldn't be ignored. What if Qinjie wasn't a traitor? Then how did N.I. Yang's new songs get leaked? Were there other traitors in the company? After lunch, Huomin accompanied Qin Chu to the office to deal with the mountains of documents and financial reports. Qinjie knocked on the door and walked in. Chief, are you free? I want to talk to you in private. Huomin paused for a second, then nodded. She got up and led Qinjie to the pantry next door. What's wrong? Huomin was curious when he saw Qinjie's serious expression. Chapter 1430. Chief, I'm sorry, I want to resign. I don't want to work here anymore. What? Did someone say something bad about you? Huomin thought she was under too much pressure. Qinjie shook her head. No, I just feel like I'm too clumsy and can't help N.I. Yang. Instead, I'm always causing trouble for him. The truth is, I know that Sister Ingzi doesn't like me, and N.I. Yang always fights with Sister Ingzi because of me. I don't want that to happen. I think I should go back to my original position. You brought me here and no one dares to say anything to N.I. Yang, but they might talk behind my back. You and N.I. Yang are both people I care about the most, and I won't bring any negative influence to the two of you. Huomin remained silent after hearing what Qinjie said. Chief, I'm sorry, let me go, but I'm really not a mole, Qinjie explained with tears in her eyes. Huomin understood Qinjie's stubbornness. She didn't want him and N.I. Yang to be gossiped about. Therefore, she was willing to take the blame and leave. Jie, I respect your decision. I'll call President Wu later. You should go back to South Side. Huomin didn't give her a hard time. Qinjie smiled and walked up to Huomin and gave him a big hug. Chief, you'll always be my boss. I'll be waiting for you at South Side. After Qinjie left GK, the company returned to normal. N.I. Yang argued with Sister Ingzi for a long time because of this. After the finals of the Star of GK were broadcasted live on a famous TV station, the top 3 were announced. Another shocking insider story was exposed by the media. The winner, Qin Yuyao, was rigged with votes, and GK's higher-ups tolerated her shameless behavior. The runner-up and runner-up were also interviewed by the media and accused GK of being unfair. Moreover, the runner-up and runner-up announced on the spot that they wouldn't sign with GK, but with Imperial Star. This incident caused another uproar. Suyu was once again inexplicably dragged into a quarrel. If she went on Weibo's trending searches, she would see keywords such as GK's shady dealings, the champion manipulated votes, and Suyu is an outsider. Huomin asked Bella to instruct the public relations department to make a statement. It was to accept any investigation from any department to see if there was any manipulation of the votes. She even wanted to sue the media for spreading false rumors. Huomin felt like these people had gone too far. Inside the office, Qin Chu and Huomin weren't affected by this incident. They were already used to it. Running an entertainment company meant that one had to face all kinds of problems at any time. Huomin leaned on the sofa, drinking warm milk and reading fashion magazines. Suddenly, a page caught her attention. It was a new white wedding dress with a deep V-neck that was charming and sexy. Wearing it on a foreign model, it looked high-end and classy. The four-leaf clover design was sewn with pearls on the surface of the wedding dress, making it look extremely luxurious. Huomin was instantly moved. After being married for so long, they hadn't had a wedding ceremony, and she had never worn such a beautiful wedding dress. It was said that the happiest moment in a woman's life was the moment she put on a wedding dress. Originally, she had discussed with her in-laws and set the wedding date for May. However, her father-in-law's condition was complicated, and there were a lot of things going on at the company. She didn't know what would happen in May. Huomin suddenly couldn't wait. She really wanted to hold her wedding with Qin Chu first. She was afraid that a long delay might lead to trouble. At this thought, she quietly closed the magazine and glanced at Qin Chu, who was working not far away. Honey, yeah? Let's get married? Qin Chu paused his hand that was holding the mouse and gently tilted his head to look at Huamin. So, Mrs. Qin, are you proposing to me? Qin Chu chuckled. Chapter 1431. Yes, Mr. Qin. So, do you want to marry me? What do I get out of marrying you? Mr. Qin turned on his tsundere mode again. A lot. For example? Qin Chu smiled. Huamin said confidently, cooking? I can do that myself. Doing laundry? I have a washing machine at home. Warm the bed? Huamian threw caution to the wind, losing all her dignity. Mr. Qin thought about it carefully. That's a good idea. But your skills aren't that good, you have to keep working hard. Huh? Qin Chu, don't push it. Huamin threw the magazine at him. Mr. Qin reached out his hand and grabbed it without hesitation. Sounds good. So don't hesitate and say yes. I'm not a patient person. Didn't you say you'd wait until May? What, you can't wait anymore? You're so impatient, it's not like you. Qin Chu was confused that Huamin suddenly wanted to hold a wedding. She was such a serious and calm person. Why would she be so impatient? Was there something else going on? I don't want to drag it out and have another woman steal you away, so I've decided to take the initiative. If that's what you want to say, then I won't argue with you. Qin Chu walked over with a smile. He picked Huamin up from the sofa. It was a standard princess carry. Then we'll get a designer to make a wedding dress and a formal gown. Qin Chu kissed the tip of her nose. We don't need a designer, it'll take a long time. We'll just buy one from a bridal shop in the city. That's easy? Qin Chu was surprised. I just want a formality, I don't care about the details. Plus, I don't think the gown we design will be any better than the one from a bridal shop. Okay, I'll listen to you. How about a diamond ring? Qin Chu continued to ask. GK Jewelry has some ready-made ones. How we can pick a pair. Aren't you a picky eater? Qin Chu was speechless. I'm not picky. The banquet will be held at one of GK's hotels. Honey, what's wrong with you? Is there a need to rush our wedding? I'm not in a hurry. I feel that these are all ready-made. There's no need to be extravagant and wasteful. Ugh. Qin Chu was speechless. Honey, please? Huamin hugged his neck and acted like a spoiled child. All right, whatever you say. In the end, Qin Chu was defeated by Huamin. After some discussion, the two decided to do it right away. Regardless of the negative publicity surrounding the company, they first went to GK's jewelry stores to look at all kinds of jewelry. Then they went to a bridal shop to try out wedding dresses. Because they did not deliberately avoid the media, they were naturally photographed by many media outlets. That night, the headlines of all the major media outlets were, GK's President Qin and his wife look at rings and try on wedding gowns. It looks like good news is coming. Some of the audience who didn't know the truth asked, aren't they getting married? What's going on? The answer was that this time, it was a wedding ceremony. After Huamin and Qin Chu got their marriage certificate last year, they never held a wedding ceremony. For people of their status, it was impossible for them to keep a low profile and not hold a wedding ceremony. Originally, Old Master Qin said that they would hold a grand wedding in May. However, it seemed like Huamin couldn't wait any longer and suddenly decided to get married. Everyone began to speculate about the date. Some media outlets even reported that GK's insiders said that the wedding would be held in half a month. No one knew if this was true or not. All of a sudden, it caused a huge uproar. Imperial Star Headquarters, President Su, the second and third place winners of the Star of GK, who are also the first and third place winners, are clamoring to sign with our company. They're offering a very low price. Should we keep them? Chapter 1432. Tell them to get lost. I don't want money, I don't want it. I Suyu am not going to be a scapegoat. There was no way Suyu would accept those two hot potatoes. Originally, the public suspected that he was the one who sabotaged Qin Chu and sabotaged GK. Now, if he really signed those two women, then he would really be convicted of the crime. Suyu's rejection allowed those two women to sign with Huasi Qian. Ever since the news of Qin Chu and Huamian's wedding was exposed, Suyu had been in a bad mood. In the afternoon he was furious and scolded all the executives. President Su, you have to meet with President Gua of Jiha Media in half an hour? Assistant and said carefully. No, cancel. President Su, but? I'm not seeing anyone today. I'm going out for a drink tonight, so don't bother me. After speaking, Suyu picked up his jacket and left Huo Corporation headquarters. After watching the news on TV, Hua Xichin smiled. My little sister Mian. She's not that impatient anymore. Why are you doing this? Mo Schweiner walked in wearing 7-inch heels, a white mink coat and a designer bag. Xichin, did you see the news? Hua Xichin picked up his teacup and carefully wiped it with a white handkerchief. It was as if he was wiping a piece of art. Huamin and Qin Chu are going to have a wedding. Do you think they're trying to promote GK? Do we need to take the opportunity to release a movie or something to hype it up? Don't let them overshadow us. Ever since Hua Xichin established Hua Entertainment, he rarely took care of it himself. Most of the time Mo Schwecker took care of it. She loved Hua Xichin to death. She knew that Hua Xichin didn't love her, and she also knew that Hua Xichin had someone else in his heart. There was no way he would marry her, but she was willing to do these things for him. It was as if being praised by him was a great blessing. Mian isn't that kind of person. She won't use a wedding to hype things up. So you're saying that she wants to have a wedding? Mo Schwenger froze. Dreams are always beautiful, but reality is cruel. Plans can't keep up with changes. A wedding, haha, can it happen? Hua Xichin smiled wickedly, and then there was a cracking sound. The delicate teacup in his hand shattered into pieces. Instantly, bright red blood flowed down from Hua Xichin's hand. To be able to crush a cup with his bare hands, one could see how strong he was. Xichin, you're bleeding? Mo Schwenger was scared out of her wits and wanted to bandage his wound. Mian Mians, Hua Mians, Hua Mian Mian, S Mian Hua S. In just one night, news of Huamin and Qin Chu's wedding spread throughout the city. It became the hottest topic of the night, and it even flooded WeChat moments. There was even a small literary fan who wrote an article called 7 Years Later, I'll Still Be Waiting for You. The article glorified Qin Chu and Huamian's love story. It said that they separated because of a misunderstanding when they were young, and that they got married 7 years later. It wrote many beautiful stories. No one knew if they were true or not, but many people were touched. After reading it, Huamian was almost touched by her own words. On WeChat, Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling discussed the details of the wedding with her. Qin Chu, on the other hand, was in his study looking at all the preparations for the wedding, from the hotel venue to the red wine and champagne that the guests would drink. He was carefully selecting everything. Seductive fox Hua Xichin was drinking with a group of rich heirs. Surprisingly, Suyu was there as well. However, only Wei Liao, Tang Chuan, and a few of Tang Chuan's female companions were in Suyu's private room. They bumped into each other in the narrow corridor. Hua Xichin stared at Suyu's face and smiled. Mian is going to have a wedding. Don't you want to do something? Chapter 1433. Suyu was instantly enraged. He grabbed Hua Xichin's collar and pushed him to the corner of the room. Hua Xichin, I'm telling you, I don't care what underhanded methods you use to deal with Qin Chu, that's your business. But if you dare to do anything to hurt Huamin, I'll kill you. Suyu hadn't been this angry in a long time, however, he was enraged by Hua Xichin's words. It wasn't that Hua Xichin was powerful, it only meant that he cared too much about Huamin. I was just joking, why are you so agitated? Hua Xichin was still smiling. No matter how angry Suyu was, he didn't care at all. It was as if the person Suyu was scolding wasn't him. Suyu didn't want to say another word to Hua Xichin, so he pushed him hard. Then he let go of his collar and went back to his private room. Hua Xichin leaned against the wall and smiled strangely. It seemed like he wasn't the only one unhappy about Mian's wedding. Suyu was one of the victims as well. When he returned to the private room, Suyu's expression was still not good. He sat on the sofa and put a cigarette in his mouth. What's wrong? Tang Chuan asked when he saw that Suyu didn't look well. Suyu didn't say anything. Wei Liao also knew that Suyu wasn't in a good mood because Huamin was going to hold a wedding. Ahem? I heard that Huamin's wedding is in half a month, right? Tang Chuan looked at Wei Liao and asked. Wei Liao nodded. Holy shit, is true, so soon? It seems like the media reports were right. Wei Liao's wife, Jiang Xiaowei, had a good relationship with Huamin, so she knew the wedding date immediately. Half a month later, on the 28th of this month. It was indeed a little too fast. There was no foreshadowing before this. Suyu still didn't say anything. Tang Chuan reached out and placed his hand on Suyu's shoulder. Lord Su, give up this time. They're going to announce it to the whole world. Suyu took a deep puff of his cigarette, choking and coughing. Cough, cough, cough. When Wei Liao saw Suyu like this, he actually felt quite sad. Therefore he immediately changed the topic. The winner of this year's Star of GK audition is quite pretty and sweet. Chen. She's not bad, but her breasts are a little small. Her second and third breasts are bigger, but I heard that they were augmented. How do you know that? Wei Liao was speechless at Tang Chuan. I know women better than any of you. Don't be stubborn about that. Tang Chuan was proud of himself. Su Yu drank quite a bit, and after the argument with Hua Qin, his mood became even worse. He put the half-smoked cigarette into the ashtray and extinguished it. Then he picked up the glass of red wine on the table and downed it in one gulp. Lord Su, do you want me to get you a pretty girl to keep you company? It'll be good for you to vent, Tang Chuan asked with a smile. No need, you can keep her for yourself. That's all for today, let's all go home. Su Yu wasn't in the mood to drink anymore, so he took the initiative to leave. The three of them walked out of Seductive Fox and drove home. Wei Liao was a two-timer. Other than going out with Su Yu and the others, he went home when it was time. Tang Chuan continued fooling around with the two beauties in his arms. No one knew where he went to fool around. After Su Yu got into his beloved Lamborghini Sixth Element, he wasn't in a hurry to start the car. He just sat there quietly. Suddenly his phone beeped. He opened it and saw that it was a private message from Huamin on Weibo. On the 28th of this month, Qin Chu and I are holding a makeup wedding at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, 9 a.m. Are you free to come? After Su Yu read the message, he felt as if something was stuck in his heart. Chapter 1434. However, he still replied with 2 words, it's convenient. This time, Huamin invited a lot of friends including colleagues from Southside and the First Hospital. They all made it clear that they wouldn't accept any gifts. Yes, she didn't need any gifts for her wedding, she only needed blessings. She just wanted her friends and family to witness her happiness with Qin Chu. As for Su Yu, she originally wanted to ask Jiang Xiaowei to pass the message to him. However, after thinking about it, that would be too insincere. There was nothing going on between her and Su Yu, so why didn't she say it herself? Therefore, after thinking about it, Huamin sent this private message. Su Yu immediately replied. After that, the two of them didn't say anything else. Huamin then posted a thought-provoking message on Weibo. There are no two people who are completely compatible in this world, only two hearts that accommodate each other. If you change a little, I'll change a little too. Although everyone will gradually lose themselves in the end, they can become the most tacit couple. Love is never a matter of one person. If you continue to believe in love and happiness, then sooner or later, that person will raise a ring and smile at you and say, please take good care of me for the rest of my life. After Huamin posted on Weibo, it instantly became the hottest topic on Weibo. Many true fans also jumped out to send their blessings. Mian, you're going to have a wedding. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to the moment you put on your wedding dress. You'll be so beautiful. Dr. Hua, everyone says it's going to be on the 28th of this month, is that true? Are fans allowed to attend the ceremony? I want to go. Hua, you're finally going to have a wedding with Mr. Qin. Wow, it's so romantic just thinking about it. I wish you all the best. I wish you happiness. Huamin, congratulations on your marriage. Uhuhu, if you get married, what will happen to our Lord Su? To the one above, are you on the wrong page? This isn't Su Yu's Weibo, this is my Mian's Weibo. I'll always support the Qin and Hua couple. Well, I'm so happy. Mian, you're the best. You deserve to be happy. After Huamin posted on Weibo, Jiang Xiaowei immediately reposted it and tagged Huamin. Yuxing, please take good care of me. My Wei Liao told me this at his wedding. Haha, now I think he's quite an artistic person. My Mian, you have to live happily ever after. When Huamin saw this, he immediately replied to Jiang Xiaowei with a kissing emoji. The relationship between the two was self-evident. On the other hand, Song Yisher's Weibo remained silent. Everyone guessed that she might have completely given up on Qin Chu, so she didn't respond. South Hill Manor Huamin was lying on the bed, playing with his mobile phone and chatting with many people about his marriage. That was when Jixin's video call came in. Sis, what's going on? What do you mean? Huamin looked at Jixin amused. You want to hold a makeup wedding? Yeah, half a month later? Yeah, why are you in such a hurry? In a hurry? I don't think so. You're too cruel. I have a competition at school in half a month. Then don't come back. Huamin pursed his lips. Bullshit. How can I not go to your wedding? I don't want to study anymore, ha. Wait for me. Oh right, sis, tell my brother-in-law to prepare a red packet. I'll escort you in the car. If there's not enough red packets, I won't get out of the car. Money grubber. Huamin laughed and scolded him. In northern China, it was a custom for the bride's brother to sit in the car with the bride on the wedding day. When they got out of the car, they had to give the bride's brother a red packet. Otherwise, the bride wouldn't be allowed to get out of the car. Therefore, boys with older sisters could basically make a fortune on their sister's wedding day. With Qin Chu's wealth, Jixin would probably become a tycoon in an instant. After chatting for a while, Huamin was a little sleepy, so he hung up the phone and went to take a shower. Su Yu's private mansion. When he drove home, he was surprised to see his mother peeling an apple in the living room. "Mom, why are you here?" Su Yu was a little surprised to see his mother in his private mansion. Chapter 1435. I missed you. You're such a heartless child. You haven't been back for so long since you moved out. Your grandpa has been nagging about you. I've been too busy recently and forgot, Su Yu said perfunctorily. Come, sit down. Lady Su patted the seat next to her. Su Yu took off his jacket. Inside, he was wearing a white Chinese-style undershirt. Was very trendy. Did you drink? Lady Su asked when she smelled the alcohol on Su Yu. Yeah. Su Yu nodded. Lady Su handed him a peeled apple. Have some fruit first? Su Yu took it and took a bite. Then he leaned back on the sofa behind him. I saw the news today, Lady Su said word by word. Oh? Qin Chu replied nonchalantly. Are you sad? What do you think? Su Yu smiled bitterly and took a big bite of the apple. Listen to mommy and forget about it. That child might not belong to you in the first place. Lady Su liked Huamin very much and wanted to see if her son had a chance to develop a relationship with Huamin. Later, she found out that the couple had a very good relationship. Lady Su immediately dismissed the idea of letting her son interfere in their marriage. She also arranged a lot of blind dates for her son, but they all ended in failure. I know you don't have to remind me. But mommy feels bad seeing you like this. I gave birth to you. How can I not know what you're thinking? Lady Su looked at her son with tears in her eyes. Mom, I'm really fine. I'll be fine after a while. After the wedding, you should go abroad and relax. I'll get someone from the family to take care of your company so you don't have to worry. Mrs. Su had already made up her mind to transfer people from the Su family bank to come over. No, I won't leave. I still have to attend the wedding. Son, how big of a heart do you have to attend the wedding? She invited me. I have to go, Su Yu said word by word. As long as Huamin wanted something, he would satisfy her. Are you going to stay single for the rest of your life? Su Yu didn't say anything. Huamin is definitely not part of our family. Can you stop thinking about him? I'm not missing her. I miss her so much that I can't let her go. Su Yu looked innocent. He wanted to forget Huamin more than anyone else. He wanted to let go of everything. But when it came to matters of the heart, could it be picked up and let go just like things? If he was that kind of person, would he still be considered a mortal? Then he would become an immortal or a Buddha. Then Lady Su burst into tears after hearing her son's words. Mom, why are you crying? Su Yu's hair stood on end. I'm just worried about you. You're so stubborn. When you were young, you were sad for so many years even when your dog died. Now that you're seriously in love with a girl and she's about to get married, you're still like this. How can I be at ease? I'm not going to become a monk. I think my feelings for Huamin will fade. After all, as time passes, all feelings will disappear. She has her own family and children in the future. I can't always be alone, right? Do you really think so? Yes. Then when can you get married and have children and let mom have grandchildren? Lady Su asked expectantly. When I'm able to accept other women, then I'll be able to, Su Yu gave a vague answer. What if you can't meet someone like that for the rest of your life? I don't think I'm that long-lasting. A lifetime is too long. Who dares to say a lifetime? Su Yu smiled. Okay, my Empress Dowager, can you stop crying? When you cry, even my dad is scared. Don't mention your dad. That guy only cares about the Su Corporation's bank. Money, money, money. I haven't seen him for almost half a year. Su Yu's father was always at the headquarters in Jing City, so he rarely came home. Could it be that my dad has an outsider's mistress? Lady Su immediately punched her son. Chapter 1436. Don't talk nonsense. Okay, since you have the strength to hit me, it means you're fine. You should go home, I'm sleepy. I'll be going then. You should go home more often. Your grandpa hasn't been feeling well lately and canceled a few business trips. Okay, I'll go back for dinner tomorrow. Lady Su nodded in satisfaction and left Su Yu's private mansion. The next morning, Huamin drove to a luxury store in the city center to buy a few pairs of wedding shoes. However, he ran into Hua Xiqin here. Beside him was a pretty girl. Huamin didn't know Wang Shasha, so he didn't recognize her. Mian, are you really going to have a wedding? What? Do you have a problem with that? Huamin glared at Hua Xiqin and asked coldly. Aha, if I say I do, will you give up on the wedding? Hua Xiqin was still smiling. Huamin, on the other hand, was furious. Hua Xiqin, who do you think you are? What a joke. I'm telling you, even the gods can't stop my wedding, let alone you. I must marry Qin Chu. Really? I hope you can get what you want, but the world is unpredictable. Little sister Mian, you shouldn't be so sure. Then we'll see. Huamin's tone towards Hua Xiqin was very rude. Hua Xiqin turned around and left, no longer in the mood to continue shopping. After Huamin left, Hua Xiqin didn't seem to want to continue shopping either. He turned around and left. President Hua, I haven't bought any shoes yet? Wang Shasha said, feeling wronged. Hua Xiqin didn't say anything the whole way, as if he was thinking about something. After they got into the car, Wang Shasha finally couldn't help but ask, was that girl the Mian you've been talking about? What? Hua Xiqin looked up, his gaze extremely rude. Nothing. I just thought that she looked quite ordinary. I thought she was a beauty. Wang Shasha deliberately said with jealousy. Indeed, before she met Huamin in person, she always wondered what kind of woman could make someone like Hua Xiqin fall in love with her. However, when she saw Huamin in person, she was a little disappointed. Huamian wasn't as beautiful as she had imagined, nor was she as alluring as she had imagined. She was even secretly happy. If Huamian wasn't as pretty as her, would Hua Xiqin fall in love with her after some time? When mean, she didn't realize how angry Huamin and mean. She was still proud of herself. Hua Xiqin turned his head, looked at Wang Shasha's face and said word for word, let me tell you, someone like you can't even compare to Mian's finger. You don't deserve to be mentioned in the same breath as her. Then why are you still keeping me alive? Wang Shasha said this in a fit of anger. To her surprise, Hua Xiqin pushed open the car door. Get out now. Seeing that Hua Xiqin was really angry, Wang Shasha's tone softened. President Hua, I didn't do it on purpose, Before she could finish her sentence, Hua Xiqin pushed her out of the car with all his might. She fell and broke her elbow. Then the Rolls-Royce Phantom sped away. If Wang Shasha knew how important Huamin was to Hua Xiqin, she wouldn't have dared to say that. She was even a little scared. She was used to living a luxurious life. If Hua Xiqin didn't keep her in captivity, then where would she go? Wang Shasha's confusion towards Hua Xiqin had turned into fear, and now she was dependent on him. Whether it was mentally or financially, she had unknowingly begun to treat Hua Xiqin as the most important man in her life. She didn't even know what her relationship with Hua Xiqin was. He provided her with food, drinks, and expenses and gave her everything, but he didn't touch her. This kind of abnormal treatment made Wang Shasha feel confused. After Huamin ran into Hua Xiqin, she was no longer in the mood to buy shoes. She drove straight back to Sky Blessing Court to pick up her mother, and then drove to the Qin Manor. Today was the big day before the wedding. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.